54th I.S.U.P.K. Passover, Raleigh Convention Center. It's called April 1st. Join us.
When I start, big shine, big glow. I be gone till November, let my bitch know. I'm back by the winter, bubbling like Crisco. I need my pockets all swollen like a lymph node. Talking out the side of your neck, get you a slit throat. I stay broke, don't care if I got a million. Looking down on me, I put your brains on the ceiling. Fuck kicking down the door, we bout to demo the building. Fake cats all in these groups, I wonder who ya. Shoot ya off your pulpit, hallelujah. 4-pound gun youngin' down like it's a cougar. On my feet, combat boots, or is it Puma? Words spreading around about me, none of it rumor. All truth, very big facts, very large caliber on very small gaps, compact pistols, ladders, and all that. About to throw the switch in the Nina for rapid fire. Got the 5.7 equipped with the magnifier. Boom shakalaka equipped with the rim rocker. We ain't really got beef, yeah, Ramak with a bin shot ya. The best rhymer, Synth Pac and Big Papa, Big Llama, Big Juice, I'm Big Jamba. Quarter tank of gas around the Big Papa.
My shot, he was falling from the water. Lord, to me the right name, cause he stood up with the Most High, and he's standing up with the Most High. He parted the Red Sea, and the entire nation of Israel walked out of slavery.
One West vetted, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I'm finished, one West when I start.
This is the Raleigh Convention Center. It's a big lobby too.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Convention Center, taking it to the next level, worldwide.
Yes, sir.
So these are the two escalators.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yep. There's two here. So
up.
we'll be A and B. Right? Right. So A and B. So we'll have from here to the back there. So
Coming up.
restroom.
So A and B.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So from here, I believe.
They said that corner, that corner, that.
Huh?
From there, all the way down.
Hey, let me tell y'all something, brothers and sisters. Okay, I want you to understand. I want you to understand something, and why this is so important. Because when Satan tried to overthrow the truth, it was but a handful, and I mean a small handful of brothers that came together. Big shout out to General Muhammad, General Maya, General Haas, General Shalmar, General Kathum Gabar, and General Q, and all the captains and soldiers that came through, and all the beautiful sisters. It was just a handful of brothers. Satan thought to overthrow this truth, which is why we've been coming together for 54 years to promote this truth, and why you got to be here, why I want you here. I'm just telling you straight up. You know what I'm saying? This ain't even a promotion. This is why I want you here. Take a look at this. Give me a panoramic of this right quick. All the way around. And once again, this is a mark of what this truth has done for us and what the Lord have done for us. This wasn't done by man. This was the Most High doing this, because he handed us this truth and we held on to it. And it's a beautiful thing, and I can't wait to see y'all April 1st. It's going to be amazing. Oh, man. This is just what we need. And I see why they said that we needed that level of sound. Because to reach this room, to fill this room, you need some serious sound. You know what I mean?
So, yeah, right here. Let me see if here. Anybody in here? Good.
Appreciate it.
Yep. So this would be the male dressing room.
Male dressing room. Okay. All right. Oh, it's nice size too. Okay. Yeah. All right, fam. This is a perfect male dressing room. You got bathrooms over here, showers. Turn around. You can take a look at that. I'll get in here and get set up. So do exactly what you need to do. You know what I mean? And once again, it's deserving of the brothers who have been so strong to hold us down for you to be just as strong and join them April 1st. It's an amazing thing.
That's it. All right.
Oh yeah, hey there.
Look at this wonderful, wonderful kitchen. So big shout out to Shaquana Podge. Your work is in good hands. Can we do a circle right quick? See how wonderful the workers at Center Plate handle their business. Thanks for allowing us to put you on tape. Showing what a great kitchen and a great operation this is. So I look forward to seeing everybody come on in, man. It's going to be amazing. April 1st. Raleigh, North Carolina, y'all. We at the backdrop of the convention center. We right across the street, doing it straight up in the Hanover room. Take a look at this room. Now they're gonna work this whole thing out for us. Jerome Muhammad's class will be rocking on a level. And I mean, I'm standing in this room and the temperature control system in this room is absolutely off the hook. So it's gonna be comfortable, beautiful, fully decorated, ready to go. This is it, fam. We worked hard for this. We worked hard to get here. So let's get it on. Big shout out to General Muhammad. Big shout out to the class he puts on, smoking as usual. And, you know, it's going to be beautiful to get up in here, man, and do our thing. Also, Feast of Unleavened as well. We'll be getting together and bringing this brotherhood and sisterhood together. We got to fight to bring the 12 tribes together. You ain't going to bring the 12 tribes together without a battle. You got to go to war to bring them together. Christ said, bring them 2 sticks together and tie them together. Everybody make it out, man. We doing it up April 1st, man, the whole week. Whew, it's going to be beautiful. All right, yo.
Yes, sir.
Like anything, if you want to accomplish anything, especially in the truth of the Most High, you warring against all the spirits that would like to see you destroy it and like to see it fail. But through the grace and mercy of the Most High, great men have stood the test of time to create great things for the Most High. And this is no different. This is no different. This is a war and a battle to bring this truth where it should be. And boy, the men and women in this truth are continuing to do an amazing job. So, see y'all out there. War up, April 1st. Get it on.
One West bread, one West Betty, one West pumping through my blood, don't forget it. One West in my brain, one West in my heart, one West when I'm finished, one West.
Shalom, Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yahanna is putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us at the Sheridan in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the Convention Center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us there.
It's about time, sending curses to them enemies.
stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood I lay my life down right now for all my sisters and brothers, because I love them. I see them dapping and hug them. It's amazing to see how well we adapt from the struggle. Born again from a life of sin, trapped in the gutter. My mind frame was to kill my own kind. Feeling inferior, waking up ready to die. Run with them killers, so it's just a matter of time. For why take your life or let you take mine? That's when I realized the slaves killing slaves while the white man live to get old. We in them graves, the shit got me feeling plain. I opened the Bible, went through them records, found out we was royalty, a nation to be respected. But in this world we rejected, we hated for our complexion. Still fighting to get accepted. We hear the truth and reject it, but love is getting corrected. And all my niggas correct me. The commandments, the foundation we erected. Brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Brotherhood is a weapon. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. If I die for my niggas, it'll be an honor and a blessing. Better watch how you stepping, cause brotherhood is a weapon. Hey, hey. Hey, hey.
Hey, Shalom Israel, this is a public service announcement to all the sisters out there. You already know what time it is. Them Passover corsages is blooming absolutely right this year. If you a married sister, rock that red corsage. And for all the single sisters out there, the white corsage was made just for you. Stop playing. You cannot be Passover ready without rocking one of these. Just $10 to complete that fit for the Lord's 54th annual Passover. Pre-order yours now. Click the link below for more info. For just $10, I got a feeling that this is just the right batch of flowers to have you looking on point and official. Sisters, make it your business to get you one, and we hope to see you there. Shalom Israel.
So I spit juju, I taste the whole thing. Taking my style, I'm far from a language, just let me put it down, baby. She on the road, can't get around in my coupe, me and you, we just cruising through the town lately. Ask me some questions, girl, do you mind? What would it take to make you mine, please? Tell me be you, and we can try. So I spit juju, I taste the whole thing. Taking my style, I'm far from a language, just let me put it.
Yo, are you good? We good?
Cancer, you
most like guys. Alright. Yabashin Shabrak Thumb, Yahweh Shemal, Thun by Shem Shai. Tonight, Wednesday night scripture breakdown in DC. One more week we'll be descending on Raleigh, North Carolina. You know what I mean?
That's right.
The nerves and them starting to set in. The nerves is setting in. Listen, Negro, if you ain't ready now, them, you know, the extra midnight oil you're burning, I'm not sure if it's gonna help you that much. Yeah, I mean, no, you do what you gotta do. Get in there how you could get in there. You know, whatever it is you gotta do, make sure you could, you know, I mean, honor the Lord's Passover. This is our holiday. This is our feast day. This is our big day. This is, you know, this is it. The Lord's Passover is down there, everything for us, because without it, we wouldn't even be a nation. We'd all be Egyptian. You know what I mean? We'd all be walking around here looking like them idiots up in New York. Right. Talking about Hotep and Isis and Horus with a ton of, you know, crystals and wires around your neck and just crazy out your mind, and never able to effect actual change in anybody, and never able to accumulate any real power. Now that you could start making moves to affect, you know, the lives of people on a national level. You get the point? That Egypt shit is good for your cipher. It's good for, you know, the little group you're in. It's good for the little four corners of your friends list. But when it comes to actually being able to change lives, you know what I mean, to actually affect, you know, an entire community, an entire nation, is, you know, you need the Most High in Christ. You need the laws of the Bible. You're gonna need that thing that really, you know, has power. You know what I mean? So the Passover has afforded us that situation because of course, you know, the Lord came through there and unalived Egypt. He totally unalived Egypt. He totally made them yesterday and whatever other little nonsense terminology these internet wizards have us using. I just start to call them internet wizards. Not in a good way wizard, not like brilliant, but a wizard like a witch, like a warlock, like, you know, like cuckoo, you know, that Gargamel, you wizard. Because y'all on that, y'all internet rulers, I can't wait for the day when all y'all get fired.
Right.
I'm gonna tell you straight up and down. Right? Or do I have to say unjobbed or unemployed? I can't say fired because that's offensive, right? I can't wait for y'all to get unemployed and unjobbed because y'all making this damn internet, you know, a damn obstacle course. You know what I mean? An absolute obstacle course for no real reason. Once again, they're not really affecting any kind of change. You get the point? They're not affecting any sort of change anywhere in anything. I could talk about a car battery, and in 5 minutes, the Duralast commercial comes up on the side of whatever social media I'm using at the time. But these young oppressor babies, these young blonde-haired, blue-eyed babies that have a disposition to hurt people physically in schools with long black objects that we call that dispel projectiles made of lead. You see how much I talk now? That dispel projectiles, that give off projectiles made of lead in these little school classrooms. Y'all will see them Googling the classroom. Y'all will see them Googling how to get away with this act. Y'all will see them Googling how many feet per second this particular projectile goes and the damaging effects of it. And your dumbass wouldn't put put them in the lights of their city's police department. You wouldn't do nothing to stop that. You get the point? But me, the UPK trying to raise up blacks, Hispanics, and Native Indians, you have all the hurdles for us to jump through. No problem. We're gonna jump through them. We're gonna handle it. But you best believe a day gonna come when you're not gonna be able to stop anything. Right. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, SHALAM.
A couple things. Easter, Passover, of course. We're going to touch a little bit on the Passover. We're going to touch a little bit about this Passover demon I keep hearing about. The Passover demon is busy. Passover demon. Oh, boy. This Passover demon is strong this year. I'm going to give you a good surprise at the end of this class about your Passover demon that you say you have. Like you minding like a pet. Minding it like a pet. Feeding it every damn day. I'm going to explain to you that situation. Of course, we're going to get to that topic at the top. Emotional incest or emotional incest syndrome, otherwise known as covert syndrome. There's a few other names for it, but that emotional incest or covert syndrome is the most common popular names, all right? So we're going to get into it. Any questions?
Council, I have a question. It has to deal with multiple wives.
Hey, Yabashin Shabta, what's going on, priest? You all right? Musa in Christ,
Yeah, that's it.
Musa in Christ, priest. All right, what we have?
Council, okay, so the question I have is, it's a question of being unclean and having multiple wives. If
you're unclean all the time, huh? I just see that. Whatever. Let's take a lot of phone calls. That's what I'm doing. Go ahead.
So if you lay with your rib, you're unclean.
Mm-hmm. You're trying to figure out if you can tell the other rib, I can't come see it because I'm unclean.
Concept.
But gosh, I think you're onto something. I think you're onto something right there, brother. I think Bakwash might be onto, The playbook right there. That's the whole, man in motion act. That's the Omaha playbook there. Say, hey, baby, I can't come tonight. I'm unclean. God damn, what you gonna say? It's the law. She gonna be mad? It's the law. What you want me to do is it's the law. I can't come around here. I have to quarantine until sundown tomorrow. Yeah. It's crazy. Okay, to get a better context of it, you probably want to pull any one of those unclean laws.
Okay.
Right? You want to get a better context of it. Right, you definitely want to pull that. Any more questions? You want to make sure get with your camp leader about them buses, them seats going crazy. You know what I mean? I don't even know if there's any more left. Right? Also, them corsages. You sisters, man, come on, get up on them corsages, man. Get up on them corsages. Don't spend another year lonely. Don't, get up on them corsages. The red ones for the sisters who already was wise enough to at one time get white. And now they wearing the red, and they're gonna wear that red proudly. But then they have the white now for the eligible sisters, the sisters who are unmarried, and you want to, you want to put that bat signal in the sky to let brothers know, hey, I'm available over here. You see over here, there's good, and wholesome UPK daughter over here, ready and willing to get down with you. So go and get that corsage. Get the link from your camp leader. Go to the Facebook Passover page. You're gonna see the link to prepay for your corsage. Only $10, man. Only $10 for a red or white corsage. Get them for them the young girls too. You have daughters. They might be young, 5, 10 years old, 12. You go ahead and put a red corsage on them, man. They belong to you. You ain't married them, of course. We ain't doing no incest up in here. But what you want to do is you're putting them in the culture of the whole thing. The culture of this corsage means I belong to my father. This corsage means I'm untouchable. I can't, meaning like nobody can come to me. Now, when they become of age, they're already in the culture of wearing corsage. Now you let them know, listen, you wear this white one because now you're ready to be married. You're ready, for a brother to take notice of you, right? And of course, that age is, when she's, close to 20. She's around, 18, 19, 20. Now she's really more developed to even consider a boyfriend or husband. That's the better word for it. All right. Before that, brother, you want to, or sister in some cases, you want to make sure that young girl has sense in her head. She's able to think. She's a critical thinker. Because in 10 years removed from that age, you're going to have a family with, changing diapers and having to pay bills and get the food for the house and prepare for this brother who's going to be doing the work of the Lord and slaving, or she might be slaving and this. She's going to have to be a critical thinker. She's going to have to rely less on her emotional side and more on her ability to be disciplined and listen to her husband. You're going to have a lot of work to do. The scriptures say, when thou marriest a daughter, you have done a heavy thing, a weighty matter. You have performed a weighty matter. You get the point? And part of that weighty matter is getting them into the culture of our nation. And them corsages, man, get them going, man. Them daughters can wear them thing too. Just give them the red one. That's all. Just give them the red one, man. Get them used to it. Get them used to that, this thing means something. And this red one means I belong to somebody, and that's their father or the camp leader or whoever. And until when they reach the age, they get put in the white one. You sisters who have age in the school, you done did your time, you're approved of your camp leader. You know what I mean? You get that white corsage, man. Go out there, say a prayer to the Lord, go in that Passover boardroom, man. Be there, be present, and see what the Lord do for you. You know what I mean? So I think that's about it. Pay your tithes. Get them Passover funds up in there, $200 for everybody 17 years and over. It ain't a big deal. It ain't a lot. It ain't them Beyonce tickets. Them bros, your bros paying $1,000 to see that bitch on a horse. To see that woman on a horse. Yeah, I mean, ridiculous money, and them $1,000 tickets ain't even in front of the stage. They ain't even in front of the stage. That's just the the bargain price, and you had to get them. And Beyonce smart. She announced that concert right in tax season. She know them broads getting the check back. You ain't getting that money to go buy no car, brother. She gonna get that money to B, the queen bee. Go pay that Passover fee, man. Get down there in Raleigh, North Carolina. We're gonna break bread. We're gonna do it up. Everybody coming in. I talked to UK today, boy. I think they're gonna hire the whole damn plane. They is coming in full force. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, you know, it's gonna be amazing, man. Y'all come on though, check it out. You know what I mean? Because you find it? Go ahead.
This is Leviticus chapter 15 and verse 2. Speak unto the children of Israel and say unto them, when any man hath a running issue out of his flesh, because of his issue he is unclean.
Right.
Verse 3. And this shall be his uncleanness in his issue, whether his flesh run with his issue, or his flesh be stopped from his issue. It is his uncleanness. Every bed wherein he lieth that hath the issue is unclean, and everything whereon he sitteth shall be unclean. And whosoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes, and whoever touches his bed shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even. And he that sitteth on anything whereon he sat that had the issue shall wash his flesh slightly, shall wash his clothes and bathe himself in water and be unclean until the even.
All right. So now this one here is not the law of course, sex and intercourse. This is an issue that run out of you, meaning you have some sort of discharge. You understand? You have some sort of discharge. You know, you have some infection. You know, it could be an infection. Lord forbid it's some STD, which is why, again, you should come up in here and be solid and, you know, secure and disciplined and go through the whole protocol about getting a wife. Just like getting a car. Everybody who ever buys a car, every successful, you know, purchaser of a car, they have a rubric or some sort of steps they follow.
Right.
And, you know, 90% you escape a lemon. Now, you might have some little work to do on it. You might have an oil change. You might have some seals to change. But the shit ain't going to just break down and quit on you forever. And it's the same thing as, you know, in getting a woman. There's a whole protocol to go through to get the thing. And the thing is designed to weed out a weakling who's not good for marriage. Is to weed them out. Whether it's a woman or a man, it's designed for that thing. But now, of course, you decide to go play Russian roulette in the street, brother. Or sister, you know, you might wake up one morning with an issue running out of you. You know what I mean? You might wake up one morning with an issue running out of you. And, you know, shalom.
Right.
And that's that. You know what I mean? That's that. So this here would be that type of issue. Okay, you want the actual intercourse or the sex. Hold on, it's supposed to be right there in this chapter. I'm gonna tell you where. Hold on. Might be chapter before. No, hold on. Yeah, this one here is just for the unclean discharges. This is that thing. There's another one there for the let me see. It's where it says seed. Seed of copulation or seed. What's going on? What's going on, Hebrew? Levi in the building. Listen, man, that's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about, man. Listen, just bring it all the way down here from New York. That's what I'm talking about. That's a righteous thing we're talking about. Get out of hand. Yeah, man. Say again? Listen, the white corsages, they mature into the red ones. That's like the butterfly. This is first a caterpillar, now it's the butterfly. You know, take that from the brother before it falls there. That one is mine. You sure? It's mine for the school. Let me know now. The way I'm rank set up, I think it's mine. I'm joking. You could put it on the counter over here too. Since that bad there is yours, put it on the counter over. No sweat. Okay, Bukwash, what you want is Leviticus 15 and 16. Right, let's start at 16. The other one is just regular, like issues or discharges, not regular, but discharge. This one here is more regular. This is what happens. All right.
It's Leviticus chapter 15, verse 16. If any man's if any man's seed of copulation go out from him, then he shall wash all his flesh in water and be unclean until the even. And every garment and every skin whereon is the seed of copulation shall be washed with water and be unclean until the even. Verse 18, the woman also with whom man shall lie with seed of copulation, they shall both bathe themselves in water and be unclean until the even.
Right? So now that's what you're talking about, right?
Come.
You have a rib, you have sex with her, you're both unclean. Now you're saying if the brother has more than one, and okay, meaning like he's with one night and he goes to the other one. Now is he unclean and go into her? Right? He'll be unclean, but okay, the spirit behind the law, that's what you have to understand. The letter of the law and the spirit of the law. The spirit of this law of separation of unclean is to do what?
Is to not contaminate anybody else.
It's to not contaminate anybody else with, possibly, right? Okay. Now, of course, in a marriage with the UPK, of course, there's a whole protocol with getting a rib or a sister getting a husband. Anybody who, been here long enough and did the protocol, part of that is your Carfax. You know what I mean? You have to go get a medical. You get the point? You go get that medical, and both of you all are medically sound. There's no transmittable diseases. There's no STIs, no history of that. You now green light to go marry each other. And you would do the same thing if you're a brother with each rib you take or the ribs you take before. Right? So now you already know there's no, STIs here. You get the point? You'll be unclean to go to her, yes. That's the letter of the law, right? Not the spirit of the law. You get the point? The spirit of the law is more so you don't want to now spread something to everybody else that you may have. So now you go into her, as long as you know for sure you're doing your due diligence. You're doing your due diligence. In here, everybody's advised, go see a dentist, man. Go see a doctor at least once a year. It's, it ain't gonna hurt you. You're gonna find, it's and you're establishing a medical history, which is also good to establish as an adult, because Lord forbid something happened to you later on and you try to figure out how the hell this happened. You don't have a medical history to go back and look at. You get the point? You don't have, well, I did this last year, this year, there's nothing there. So no, this had to be somewhere here. You get the point? It's good to have that situation. Now, once again, I'm just giving you scenarios of how it could happen. In that situation, you're not forbidden from going to see her the next night. You understand? What you can't come into the congregation. You get the point? You can't come into the congregation. You can't come to, a holy gathering where everybody is. But you're free definitely to do that. Now, of course, responsibly. You understand what I'm saying? Which is, again, the medical records, you keeping up with your health, making sure your household's keeping up with their health. So why? So that you don't now come and convey something to somebody else and you just start a whole, relay of just passing your door. You get the point? So you're not breaking the law by doing it. You're not wrong for doing it. You're not wrong if you don't go. You get the point? But now, if it is you're using it, that's what I say in my Hadi playbook. If it is now you're using this to say, well, I'm over here with, Eve, and Eva wants to see me. And I say, hey, Eva, I'm unclean. I can't come to you because you don't want to go to Eva. Then the Lord is going to deal with you on that one. You get the point? She ain't going to know as far as she know you're unclean. But you can't use it to defraud her due benevolence. You get the point? The scriptures say, don't defraud one another. Give her due benevolence. You're going to have to go in there and do your duty. You get the point? It's after the new car smell wear off, marriage is duty, this ain't I don't feel to do this tonight. This ain't that shit. You better feel to do it, and with a smile and with enthusiasm, and go to sleep. You get the point? It now becomes part of this routine, the maintenance of it. I'm saying it in a way that you might think is robotic. It's not robotic. But the minute you start doing things based on how you feel, the marriage is going to fall apart. This can't be. This has nothing to do with feelings. You know what I mean? You have a what Esau call a honeymoon period. The Bible give you a honeymoon period. You familiar with that, Kokosh? But the Lord give you a year with your red. Can't go to war. You can't go. And of course, this is in the context of the Bible where going off to do a job or going off to do the work of the Lord took months, maybe even years, because of the distance people had to travel. Now you could be on the other side of the earth in less than a day. You get the point? So now the Lord gave you that time period to, handle that. But after that, this is a duty like a child. Like you have a newborn child, there's a certain euphoria there with holding the baby, hearing the goo goo gaga. But after a while, brother, them diapers, you don't want to change another one. You don't want to do none of that, but you have to do it. You have to wake up in the middle of the night. You have to feed this child. You have to play. When you don't want to play, child want to play, pulling your leg. You don't want to play. What are you going to say? Hey, I don't feel to do it? No. You're going to have to put on a smile and figure it out and be tired and doing it. And that's what love really is. You get the point? So, of course, once that's not your reason, I ain't going to say you're wrong, but as long as all things remain equal and the same, go see your river. Go see how much of them, whatever. You get the point? But don't. That particular what you just brought up is not. It's not a reason to not go see her. You get the point? So it's absolutely fine. You're not breaking the law.
Sir. There's a question online from his daughter UIC. Asked question.
What? His daughter what?
UIC. And
she forget the aisle. Why are you over here learning his daughter? Still like you. Go ahead.
Sir. It says question. 1 Corinthians 11:14. What does it mean when they say it is a shame unto him?
Okay. 1 Corinthians 11:14. Okay. Hold on. All right. Okay. 1 Corinthians 11 and verse 14. Okay. Yes, sir. Grab that for me in the meantime. There, come, sir. All right, but don't start at 14. Okay, read 14 and we're going to skip up. All right.
1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 14. Mm-hmm. Does not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?
Right, and that's a question. So you're reading it like, it is a shame unto him? Meaning like, does nature not teach you that if a man have long hair, are you going to say that's a shame unto him? That because nature is natural. Now, is that a shame unto him? That if he has long hair? The answer is no. It's not a shame unto him. We're going to skip up a little bit more now just to get the understanding of it, right? Now, this here is what most Christians use to say a brother with long hair is sinning against the law, right? That you're supposed to cut your hair. But that's not true, and that's not biblical. In fact, just read the next two verses.
Come. Verse 15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her, for her hair is given her for a covering. Verse 16. But if a man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom, neither the churches of God.
Right? So if a man seem to be contentious, to say if a brother has long hair, he's supposed to cut it. Or a woman, her hair, she could cut her hair. She could shave her head bald. Right? If a man has any seems to be contentious about that, meaning he's arguing that situation, it should be allowed to, you had to force a brother to cut his hair or allow a woman to cut hers. If anybody seems contentious, we don't have such customs like that. We don't have customs of that being a style. There's a time for a woman to shave her head bald, and that's when she is taken in marriage as a concubine. When you have to go unalive her mother and father in war, not just go next door and do a whole damn Menendez brothers thing. This is in war, right? In that situation, initially she is to shave her head bald. That's letting everybody know how she became your rib, right? A concubine is just another rib. It's a rib you take in war, not a rib you go parley with her father and befriend him and then pay him a dowry, right? So now let's skip up a little bit. Hold on. Give me verse 3.
Okay. 1 Corinthians chapter 11, verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Christ is God.
Right? So that's the first thing you gotta understand. The head of every woman is the man. The head of every man is Christ. The head of Christ is the Most High power. Right? Now skip me down to where it says she have power on her head. No, in fact, keep reading.
Verse 4. Every man praying or prophesying, having the head covered, dishonoreth his head.
Right? Every man praying or prophesying. You a brother, you praying to the Lord, or you out there prophesying or teaching the word of the Lord. If you have your head covered, you dishonor your head. Which is why in our headpieces, there's a hole in the crown, which is to cover your head. Get the point? Like just think rain falling. Rain falling, you ain't got a coat or an umbrella. You take a newspaper or something and you cover here. You don't do this or this. You don't, you cover the crown. That's what's covering. The crown. Our crown is exposed. Even with the mitre that brothers wear, the crown is exposed. The headband, the crown is exposed. All right, keep going.
Verse 5. But every woman that prayeth or prophesieth with her head uncovered dishonoreth her head. For that is even all one as if she were shaven.
Right? In the like manner, a woman who's praying or prophesying, and not prophesying like a Christian priestess woman or your preachers or your Juanita Bynum, she prophesying would be her telling her husband the words of the Lord. You get the point? Or her, asking a question about the Lord. That would be her prophesying, like Deborah, who got the dream from the Lord and went and prophesied it to her husband. You get the point? Or may have told a priest somewhere, any woman who's saying it, she would be prophesying. She has to now cover her head. She has to cover her head, because if she doesn't, she dishonors her head, her husband. Now that's the spirit of this chapter. The spirit of this chapter is being honorable in the nation of Israel between the Most High, Christ, man and woman, how we operate. You get the point? So now her doing that with her head uncovered, she dishonors her head, her husband. It would be the same as if she were what? Shaven, right? Why? Because a woman who is shaven, she is not like the wife you get, who you pay for. You understand? The one whose head is shaven and you have to cut her nails, you have to pay her nails. Them fancy nails, you have to cut them down. Not rip them out, but you cut them down. Meaning you're making her less glorious. You humbling her, but this is a humbling way where this is not the usual thing you do. But this is the display to show that this rib came from war. I had to kill for her. I don't know, we might lose the damn thing. That's a lie. Whatever, right? And somebody had to go in the ground for her. It's different. So now it's the same as if she praying or prophesying with her head uncovered. She is dishonoring her husband, right? Keep going.
Verse 6. For if the woman be not covered, let her also be shorn.
So he's saying if the woman refuses to cover her head, you have some proud broads in the world, they refuse to cover their head, they refuse to be humble, they refuse to now honor their husband. That's really what it comes from. Let her also be shorn, meaning let her walk around looking like Jada Pinkett Smith. Let her be like that. If she wants to dishonor her husband. That's why if she do have that alopecia, that's from the Lord. Because she dishonored the hell out of that man. So let her be shorn. Let her walk around looking like that. Right? Go ahead.
But if it be a shame for a woman to be shorn or shaven, let her be covered.
Now, if that is a shame, if it's a shame for her to look like Jada Pinkett, she don't want nobody to talk about her and embarrass her because she look horrible, then she shouldn't be a hoe. She should be humble. She should honor her husband. That's the spirit of this chapter here. You get the point? The whole spirit of this chapter is how to be honorable. How the brothers supposed to honor Christ, how the sisters supposed to honor their husband, honor the man who's over them. You get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 7. For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God.
For a man, he doesn't cover his head. He doesn't, tame what's up here. Right? You cover that thing. A sister, when she had to wrap that thing up, she had to pin the hair up first or braid it in a certain way so the wrap sits right. You'll see them sisters with them headpiece. You're looking at that shit. Time go into that. That's why when you cancel the date, they're mad because they just spent the last hour and a half pinning that shit up. They put some work into that shit. They put some work into that shit and wrap that thing up, and then the wrap slipped, so she had to do the shit over again. And here your dumb ass coming, hey, I can't do this tonight. Hell yeah, she gonna be mad at you. She did some work. You get the point? A man, he is not to tame that thing on his head. She had to tame that thing. That's for you to see. That's for you after you done pin that red corsage on. Because you don't get them red. Because I'm going to give you a little hint. I get two of them for her. Pin one on either side and tell her this is boundary here. Nobody coming in here. This is mine. Get that red corsage on, brother. When you got to take that headpiece off, it's some work under there. And then that thing drop or open out or whatever, that's for you to see. That's the glory you see. Her glory, you see that on a regular basis. And this is not to say she can't wear her hair out on a normal, going to the store or whatever. But this is more so in class in the holy settings. Now, of course, if your husband wants you to cover your head more times, you should honor him. And if you don't want to do it more times, you just go to him. Go to him and win him over. Use your femininity and win him over. Right? So now that's the spirit here. Her head is to be tamed, humbled, covered. Yours is not. Yours is not to be like that. Just think like a lion and a lioness. A lion have a huge mane. Lioness own ain't there. It's like, just think like it's covered down, it's tied down. You ain't seen what she got. It's almost like that. You see that lion, oh shit, that's big lion right there. Her is on the wrap. It's like that. Right? That's the spirit coming down here. Right? Go ahead.
I'll take it from the top, sir.
What was here?
Verse 7.
Go ahead.
For a man indeed ought not to cover his head, for as much as he is the image and glory of God.
Go ahead.
But the woman is the glory of the man.
Right? The man is the glory of the Most High. The woman is the glory of you. She could see you. So you had to see her cover it. Our heading, you can't see him physically. So we don't have that covered. You get the point? We don't have that. We don't have, but she wake up and when she see you, you gotta cover that head. You get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 8, for the man is not of the woman, but the woman of the man.
Right, for anybody who say the woman is God. Right? The man is not of the woman, but the woman is of the man. Right? Adam first, then the Lord taught Eve. The Lord woke Eve up. All right, go ahead.
Verse 9, neither was the man created for the woman, but the woman for the man.
Right? That's the spirit of this thing here. The spirit is how things supposed to flow. You get the point? That's what we're running down here from verse 1. We all the way in verse 9 now. The whole spirit of this thing is how this thing is supposed to flow. All right, go ahead.
Verse 10, but this caused out the woman to have power on her head because of the angels.
Right, because of the angels. Why? Because the angels is watching, recording what's going on. You get the point? So she has power on her head. She has authority on her head. Humble. You get the point? You don't have that authority on yours. It's different. You get the point? And for anybody simple who thinking, a man doesn't have authority on his head, meaning he's, like God, or he's could do what he wants. It's not that. I walk into any room, any classroom. Christ is not physically sitting there. You get the point? She wakes up in the morning, you there. That's the analogy. That's how they juxtapose in the whole thing. But she has power on her head because you there. You don't have that power on your head. That what she has. It's different, right? The real to understand this is just to appreciate the difference between a man and a woman and the differences that make the relationship work, right? To make the whole thing work together. Go ahead.
Verse 11. Nevertheless, neither is the man without the woman,
right?
Neither the woman without the man in the Lord,
right? When it comes to the work of the Lord, the man is not without the woman, and the woman is not without the man. There's differences. You appreciate the differences, but we're not without each other in the Lord. In the work of the Lord, in the things dedicated to the Lord, we're not without each other. Now, in the world, there's battle of the sexes. In the world, there's women's power, women's liberation, misogyny, misandry, all these old fancy terms to separate the sexes. There's, men's NBA and women's NBA and this and that and women's rights and all that. But in the work of the Lord, we brother and sister, our bond is different. You get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 12. For as the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman, but all things of God.
Right? As the woman is of the man, even so is the man also by the woman. Like you can't have one without the other. You get the point? We need each other. There's no one who is more than the other. We need each other by any work of the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 13. Judge in yourselves. It is calmly. Is it calmly that a woman pray unto God uncovered?
Right. Judging yourself. Is it comely that a woman would pray to the Lord uncovered? No. She would cover her head. She's going to pray to the Lord to ask him something. She has to cover her head because her head is there. Now, for a man, he ain't got to do that. He ain't got to humble himself to go to the Lord like how she does. He ain't got to do that thing. He go to the Lord humbly, but not in the same way as her. You get the point? Go ahead.
Verse 14. Does not even nature itself teach you that if a man have long hair, it is a shame unto him?
Right. So in the same way, like now does not nature itself teach you? If a man has long hair, it is a shame unto him? Meaning the same thing. Like now, what you gonna say? He had to cut his hair off. He had to humble himself because his hair might be long. There's brothers who have long hair down to their back. Then there's brothers, Sister braiding the hair, she had to take a break after each cornrow because it's so much pulling because the hair, it's short. You get the point? It's not, not every person's hair is the same. Typically, most women have longer hair. It's not the same with brothers. Some brothers' hair stop where it stopped. And that's why I say nature itself teach you. If a man have long hair, is it a shame unto him? Is it something shameful to him? No, it's nothing shameful. Go ahead.
Sorry. Verse 15. But if a woman have long hair, it is a glory to her. But her hair is given her for a covering.
Right. Her hair is given to her for a covering. This brother, if he naturally has long hair, he naturally has long hair. If he has shorter hair, he has shorter hair. But he don't have to go cut his hair. You understand? He don't have to go humble himself. She has to, whether her hair short or long, she had to put a covering on that. If Jada Pinkett Smith went to that award show with her head wrapped, it would have been, nobody would have had no jokes. What alopecia? You see this head wrap? I got a full head of hair on there. She could have lied. But she went out there brazen. She should have covered herself. Go ahead.
It's like two things real quick, if I could. The Hamite was sitting right next to a bald head, and no one said anything about her being a G.I. Jane. Yeah, she was a quote unquote warrior in movies.
Yeah, with the Hamite ain't sit down on a red table and tell her husband how different and good this man Rod make her feel. I watched that interview, brother, Will Smith is no longer a man. I'm telling you straight up. He's not a man anymore. He's castrated fully. Like he watched another woman, his woman, talk about how it feel in her mouth, how it feel in her stomach, how it made her feel. Brother, I wanted to flip the damn TV watching anything. It's absolutely insane. You get the point? It's absolutely insane. Where we at? 15?
Go
ahead.
Verse 16. But if a man seem to be contentious, we have no such custom in the churches of God.
Right. Now, if a man seems to be contentious, we have no such custom. If a man seems to be contentious about what? A brother having long hair, he had to cut it. Or a woman not having to cover her head. A brother who he had to humble himself, or a woman who don't have to humble herself, she could, be however. We don't have no customs like that. We don't have customs like the church who tells you what? Cut your hair. Or woman thou art loose. You get the point? To understanding this is really the dynamic of a man and a woman is the opposite of what's in society today. Society tells a woman be glorious. She is Sasha Fierce. You ever notice the award show? The men just wear a dumbass suit. Just one suit with a tie. And that's that, right? The other one, for a woman, Shalom, you need to go to the restroom? Hurry up, go on. The other one wears a woman, they have the dresses and and it's all about them. They go to take the picture, the man has to go aside and it's just think the opposite. That's this world spirit. Now, it's the opposite in unity. Because now, she's still going to be humble, but she's still going to look good. He is not humble. He's still going to look good, and they're going to look good together. That's why the man is not without the woman is not without the man. The spirit of this chapter is trying to tell you how y'all should be together in the Lord. You humble down, your head is covered. He's the one who is noticed. Y'all together. Not him humbling himself, shaving his head, and her uncovering her head and being all like she's the one. You get the point? It's gender roles down here. It's gender roles. Now, Christians being so carnal, they take this thing, they look at this thing, read it verse for verse, and get lost in it. And something tells them this man has to cut his hair just because of this verse with the question. It's not that. Because if this was the case, David's son, Absalom, would have been a full-out sinner. Right. You get the point? The scripture tells you Absalom would have to pull his hair every year. If you got a precept for that, you know what I'm talking about? Please. Absalom, Absalom wanted to take the kingdom from David. David loved Absalom to death. David sent Joab after Absalom because Absalom wanted to wage war with David. So Absalom went on the run. It tells you Absalom had so much hair, brother, so much hair that he would have to cut it every year, and it had a certain weight. You have it?
Come.
Go ahead.
2 Samuel chapter 14, it's in 26, I'll take it from verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
But in all Israel, there was none to be so much praised as Absalom.
So much praised in all Israel. He was praised. Go ahead.
For his beauty.
Mm-hmm.
From the sole of his foot,
mm-hmm.
even to the crown of his head, there was no blemish in him.
Right? They look at Absalom, and there's a whole fly ass nigga here. His beard, right? His hair full. You probably whatever is the height of the day. Every generation has a height that's just the best. Sometimes it's 6'5", sometimes 6'2", sometimes 6 foot, sometimes 5 this, whatever it is, whatever was the standard for that day. Absalom was it, right? Absalom was it. Keep going.
Verse 26. And when he pulled his head,
mm-hmm.
for it was at every year's end that he pulled it,
mm-hmm.
because the hair was heavy on him.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore he pulled it. He weighted the hair of his head at 200 shekels after the king's weight.
Right. So he pulled his hair every year because his hair was heavy on him. Meaning his hair was so thick and long and big, it started to weigh on his neck. People who have a ton of hair, they'll tell you that. The closest experience they might have today, if you know anybody who's had dreadlocks for a long time, they'll tell you that it's heavy on their head. It's, you know, it's heavy. Go ahead.
It's like, so 200 shekels is about 5 pounds. 5 pounds.
So imagine his hair is a bag of flour. It weighs that much. We ain't got that. We ain't got that shit today. There's not even the yaki, the Brazilian yaki. Yeah, I mean, not even it look like them bundles don't weigh that much. You get the point? Absalom here every year would grow so much that it would weigh 5 pounds. And he would cut it not for shame, not because it was a shame for a man to have long hair. It was just too heavy. That's all. You think Absalom cutting that hair if it wasn't heavy? Shit. He wasn't cutting that at all. As much as women see that hair and it's like, they just learn to braid. He is not cutting that hair because of shame. It's because it was heavy. Give me Samson. Samson had 7 locks, 7 braids, right? That he didn't cut from birth. He had braided hair and he was a judge in Israel. What? So was Samson hair cut because of shame? No, his hair was cut because he dealt with the whore, right? And she got him to disobey the Lord. But that's all them things. If cutting a man's hair low was our custom, then those men could not be how they were or who they were in Israel. You understand? They could not be that type of person in Israel. That's all. We could skip Samson for now. Oh. But you get the points with it. You understand? Like that, this scripture here, Christians, misuse the Bible so much. And because Christians are good at this, they have their motive, what they want to do in their mind, and then they go find a scripture that's close as far as they could see to that motive. So they want to eat pork, so they pull the scripture where Peter, in his vision, where Christ said, all things, all this food is clean. Not 2 verses down, it says it was talking about man and not food. But they want to eat pork, so that's it. They want to have the homosexuality in the churches. So they say David and Jonathan had a homosexual relationship when that's not what happened. They were brothers, they were boys, they were down. It's something Christians can't understand because they don't have brotherhood. They don't have it. They don't understand, like, damn, this is my dog here. This is my, ride or die. You get the point? They wouldn't understand that thing. And of course, to appease the oppressor, to the oppressor, our hair is offensive. You know why it's offensive? Anybody knows why?
Our hair is offensive to the Christian pastor because we walking in our glory, and
that's
we
it.
Gotta be submissive men.
That's it. The oppressor, to the oppressor, you just too much. That's why it's all this hair and all this, and they're looking at you all weird because you too masculine, you're too much in your element. You're gonna have to shave that thing down. That's all. You have to shave. You don't notice every nigger on TV, every expert is somewhat well manicured, pedicured, all uptight, safe nigger. Get the point? Why I think that bald head and bald face is so common for black men to have, to be on TV or to be, respected in any way. You get the point? Okay. It's because with our culture, the afro, the braids, even the dreadlocks, that's not our culture, but we done adopted it so much that it becomes synonymous with us. They look at that shit like, you got to get rid of that. You can't come up in here with that. Go ahead.
So you don't look like a threat.
Exactly. To them, it's you threatening, but you're not threatening like I'm gonna rob you. Right. You're threatening like you so masculine, you could inspire others to be just like you. Before long, we ain't gonna have no more slaves. But if you, shave it down and get that line up and get them, shave that good old college boy haircut or the bald head, you'll inspire others to be a slave just like you. You get the point? That's really, what it is. So this precept here is common for Christians to misunderstand it and to take it to mean that, a man has to shave his head down or bald or low. He don't have to. Now, if that's his choice, that's his choice. He could still maintain his masculinity. But you can't force that on him. You cannot force that on him. If any man be contentious about what I'm saying, we don't have any such culture. You get the point? Go ahead.
Sir. Oscar Kazak says that's part of the reason why Esau hated Colin Kaepernick.
Yeah, he tired of looking at a big old pencil head. He tired of looking at a big old hair. It's just too much. You get the point? It's just too much. All right. Anything else?
Counselor, she says, thank you. Yes, I understand.
No sweat. That's the same person, right?
Colonel Counselor.
Oh, damn. This thing pull up. The same woman who asked the question, the UIC, is that are you missing a letter from that, or that's your name for real? What does UIC stand for? Because
it's like I'm going to check, but I think she was on the main UPK page. I'm gonna check real quick.
No sweat, ain't no sweat.
After 8, sir.
Ain't no sweat. Ain't no sweat. I'm gonna talk to my crowd again on the YouTube.
Come on.
All right. What else we have? Anything else, or we good to go? Any other questions in the room?
There was a question from a brother online, from Marquise Mullins. He says, Cap, are you taking calls?
Not right now, not just yet, brother. Not just yet. We did have a number lined up, but I believe the line was giving some trouble. All right, not just yet.
And there's another question, Salaki, from Olivia Arnold. She says, "Wow, a child has to wear a corsage. What scripture does it say that in?"
It's not a scripture, you dumb broad. It's not a scripture. It's culture. It's culture. If I want to let my daughters wear a flower, is that something you want to charge me for, you dumbass? I don't care about this TikTok, and I got about 5 more minutes left of discipline in me. You know what I mean? Go somewhere else, man. You don't have to be here. You don't have to be here. This is not man. You don't have to buy a corsage for your daughter if you don't want to. Hell, I'm just telling you, culture is better. You buy a corsage for the little knucklehead to go to the prom, and they're going to have sex with some boy under the bleachers and come back and get your dumbass a grandchild. I don't want that for mine. So I'm buying a corsage at the Passover for my daughters and telling them they're special and they belong to me. And any brother wants to talk to them, he had to come talk to me. I'm culturing them in that as they grow up. Asking me what scripture is. That's called being a father. That's what it's called. It's called being a father. I'm sure you don't got no man and you ain't got no daddy no damn way. Anytime you see a woman coming up against you in your strength, brother, she hates men. She hates the authority men command, and she hates her father. And what she doesn't know is she hates her father for not being there. We're going to go into that here. This broad here, I guarantee you, brother, as we go into it, you're going to realize she's suffering from emotional incest syndrome. We're going to go into that. A ton of our people are suffering from that thing, partly because of oppression. The oppression kind of produces the environment for that to happen. And the other part is just because you're nasty, Go ahead.
No, if I may, so I was listening when you mentioned that, and you specifically said, it's a good thing to train your children.
Exactly, it's culture.
Right.
It's culture. She's just an idiot, brother. She hates everything the UPK doing, or he could be one of them purple sodomites who, they like to pretend to be women online. Y'all know that. Go ahead.
Gotcha. His daughter, UIC, responding back says, yes, IUIC, I don't see a problem with learning our culture from a wise teacher, even if we are not in the same school.
So why you drop the I? So she's really IUIC, but she dropped the I to put UIC. Since this is what you should do, woman. This is something Commander Yahanna taught me early. Commit. If you're going to be in the truth, commit to the shit. If you're going to be in the world, commit to this shit. But what is you doing? I see no problem with learning. That's fine. You should also pay tithes to a wise teacher too. You get the point, sis? Daughter UIC, right? So daughter UIC, if you see no problem learning from a wise teacher, you should pay tithes to a wise teacher as well. You get the point? I don't understand anything. God damn. Imagine me dropping, you know, the U, the I.S.U., and I just like, yeah, I.S.U.P.K. What the hell kind of traitor shit is that? God damn. Like she trying to fly the flag, so she's still representing, but she ain't repping too hard. God. It says you have some things to work out to those sis. So like it. But go ahead, any more? Okay. Let's get into the thing now. Give me the topics that are the first article I want you to read is the one I text you.
Come.
All right, the one I text you.
Coping with emotional incest syndrome, a survivor's guide.
Not this. This is the one I text you. Not the Facebook Messenger. No, that's it. That's the one. Okay, no. First, before that, just give me a definition. I didn't text you the one with the definition. Just give me a definition of emotional incest syndrome.
Sir, like so if I could
go ahead.
Daughter UIC responded back and says, "Your school accepts my tithes monthly from PayPal."
Listen, give her a hand, man. So wait, she's with IUIC, but paying tithes to come on, Johnny Yahanna. You might be what's her name? Wise daughter.
His daughter.
She might be his daughter. Hell, listen, not literally, but that's wise, sis. That's what you should do. What you should do is give him all your tithes. Give him all your tithes and never stop. And drop the UIC. I don't know what the hell is that. Drop the UIC. Come up in here, get a proper name. In fact, you should get down to that Passover as well. And tell her, you know, I ain't gonna say tell everybody because I don't want half of them up in here. But I ain't in charge, so you get the point. You might get some luck. All right, you have the definition?
I got it.
Go ahead. Just the short definition, then we're gonna go into unpack this whole thing.
Summary: emotional incest or covert incest happens when a parent or caregiver relies on a child for emotional needs that an adult relationship will usually provide.
Right. So that's basically the definition, right? When a parent or caregiver or some guardian leans on a child for emotional support that they would normally in a normal situation get from an adult. It's the emotional or the spiritual side of the physical incest when they lean on a child for sexual support that they're supposed to be getting from an adult, right? So now this one is called emotional incest or covert incest. Covert meaning like, you know, it's kind of undercover. It's like it's not totally present because there's a certain amount of affection you have as an adult to a child. That's healthy. A parent to a child, a mother and a father to a son or a daughter. There's a certain amount of emotional attachment, emotional support. There's not support, but exchange that you would have. That's normal and healthy. Then there's a boundary you cross. But because of this wicked world we live in, that boundary that's crossed we don't even realize it. We don't recognize that there's a boundary that's crossed that you should not be putting on them children. You get the point? Okay. The problem is for majority of our people, due to the oppression, it creates the environment for that. You get the point? It creates the absolute environment for that because this oppressor, he's the devil the Bible speaks of. And anything he builds, you could best believe it's unhealthy. It's, you know, it's void. It's spiritually stagnant. It's anti-Christ. It's anti-God. It's not at all anything that we really should be involved in, right? So go ahead, give me yours now. I'm going to skip you through to the different parts, all right? Go ahead.
This is an article, Coping with Emotional Incest Syndrome, a Survivor's Guide.
Go ahead.
Love rules your life, but sometimes it's not the right kind of love. That is the case for survivors of an emotional incest syndrome.
Go ahead.
Many people think they had a good upbringing, but then issues arise. They find themselves cheating on their partners or they feel smothered. Survivors can express themselves romantically or sexually. They feel attached to their parents, even after their parents have passed away.
Right? So now they're giving you like a real generalization of what it is, right? One of the main signals for adults is the inability to maintain a long-standing marriage. Like you have, I call to tell you, go out and play, experience the world. They don't understand you're getting into marriages over and over. And before long, you reach a certain age and you a brother and you just can't keep a rib or ribs. You a sister and you can't keep a husband. It ain't work out. Menace dog and it turns into the menace dogs. There's something emotional in you where you can't bond normally with people. And it comes from the childhood because you don't survive emotional incest. You don't survive some sort of what seems to be normal, but it's not a normal thing. And you will see, especially in our communities, we have the environment where those things can happen. You get the point? Not we prone to it, but we have the environment is a damn near tailor-made for that thing to happen. All right, keep going.
They find they feel attached to their parents even after they pass away.
Right, and also from this, you have the different categories of sexual orientations, because now it says people can't express themselves emotionally and sexually, meaning they can't engage in sexual relationships on a normal level or emotional ties on a normal level. And now from that, it's branding off into the sapiosexual, the pansexual, the cisgender, the this, the that. They have all these categories for this thing. And it comes from being a child and you going through something and you don't even know this is impacting you. You get the point? Go ahead.
They may be suffering from emotional incest syndrome. Yet few people know what that is. You can learn the symptoms so you can get help if you need it.
All right, skip down to the next one, the next section, parent-child relationship.
The parent-child relationship. Children draw on their parents. Closeness to parents during the first 3 years of life determines many outcomes. A major component of childhood development is taught in family dynamics. Children learn from their family and what their culture expects of them.
Right? What's really taken from the top, Salaki? That last part, the last two sentences.
A major component.
Yeah.
A major component of childhood development is taught in family dynamics.
Right. A major component of how you develop is your family dynamics. As a people, our families are destroyed. That's why I say the environment is there for these things to happen. Because as you develop as a child, you know how to treat people by how your house treats each other. The brother and the sister, the mother and the father. You see in the interaction. You could either see a man being dominant in his house and maintaining his household in a healthy way. The mother supporting him, getting corrected. They have arguments. They come right back together. You see your parents touch each other. You see your parents kiss each other. You have a brother and a sister. You all fight. You all argue. Somebody breaks something. Somebody comes and judges the matter. So you develop, your childhood is being developed based on the family dynamics. Now take the father out of the home. Take the single mother. She, coming from that background herself, is doing what? Recycling boyfriends. Not able to maintain a long-standing relationship. You get the point? That child is seeing that. It impacts you because now you don't have an example of that bonding thing. You don't have that, and you grow up with trouble making the attachments, and it comes from that situation. I'm skipping your head a little bit more. I wanted to bring it out with the article, but it comes from that because now, when in most cases you would find more cases of it with the mother because of, again, the situations, but it does happen with men as well. It's not something that's sexual in nature. They call it incest because of the adult-child relationship. You get the point? But it's not as sexual in nature. Now, sex can be present in it, but this is a emotional attachment that's being formed. And what you would find is, especially with the women, they tend to make the boy the boyfriend. They tend to cry to him, lean on him and cry, and you're putting the child in adult situations and expecting the child to be the adult, and they can't. And because of that, the child grows up and can't connect with the woman they're with. They can't fully connect because it's weird to them. They develop a weird reaction to that type of emotion because of the interaction with the mother. It's going to go into it, brother. And when they describe the shit, now you see, okay, this is what's going on. You get the point? Go ahead.
They learn to stand. It's like it. Children learn from their family and what their culture expects of them.
Mm-hmm.
They learn the values of right and wrong. They learn to stand up for themselves and develop ties to the people around them.
Mm-hmm.
Parent love should be real and strong. Parents and children should be close to each other, but there should be a little distance.
You understand? That's why I say it's normal to be close to the parents and the child, but there should be, there's a boundary you don't cross. Mm-hmm. You get the point? There's definitely a boundary you don't cross. What they say, they have to learn to stand up for themselves and develop ties with people around them. It's hard to develop these ties because somebody coming and going. Mommy crying to you about somebody coming and going. You get the point?
Okay.
Standing up for yourself. You can't stand up for yourself because why? You have to stand up for this adult. You have to be strong for mommy. And from there, you get this one-sided, warped society where everything caters to mommy or woman or, You get the point? Yeah. You ever wonder why mommy for Mother's Day get the whole party and the cake and you get socks? It comes from the emotional incest syndrome. It's a whole, pigsty worth of just filth that's unhealthy. You get the point? Listen, all your dating apps and social media, not social media, but them dating apps, them, Christian Mingle and singles.com and this and that, it comes from that. People who you can't connect with somebody in the room, but you could connect with somebody over the web on that level, because what you need spiritually and emotionally to be equipped with, the muscles, the mental muscles to connect with somebody here, that has never been exercised. Come on.
Like, if I could, I passed by a few podcasts, and one of the questions that always seems to come up is, if you find a man of value or whatever, and that's your husband or your boyfriend, and he tells you he doesn't want you, he wants you to give up your social media, would you do it? Overwhelmingly, like 90% of the women in there say, no, I can't do it. I won't do it. They refuse to do it. Just like you're saying, they will connect to someone online, but can't have that connection with someone who's standing right in front of them.
That's one part of it, but for that particular one, it's more than that. It's the attention. It's the seduction of power. Women are extremely susceptible to the illusion of power. So if there's something where there's power there, she's not going to give it up. You get the point? She's not going to do it. Right? Let me get some. What, we off?
No, we still on.
Okay. I think we're gonna be off by the end of the class. Right? The numbers got to be dropping. The numbers got to be dropping by now. All right, listen. Listen. If you went through this as a child, you can't be healed from it. Just come to this right school at UPK. If you're a parent and you're doing this now, just stop. And a lot of it is recycled teaching, meaning this happened to you young, so you think it's normal and you're doing it to your children now, and that shit is absolutely not normal. I'm gonna tell you one thing, and the general brought this out in class. He brings it out over and over again. You are a mother, you have a son. It's normal in our community for the child to see the mother naked or underdressed. That is absolutely abnormal. It's not normal. It is not normal. Children Children's concept of nakedness is themselves. All of a sudden, they walk in the room, they see your house with 2 big old melons on, and they're confused, Doc. They're absolutely confused. That's not normal. If it happened to you, you could get help. If you're doing it now, stop. Don't get them children getting used to seeing you naked and you seeing them naked. It's a violation. It's a mental violation. It's not normal. They should feel offended to see you, and you should feel offended to see them. They should be offended to be seen naked. What does that establish? Boundaries. Boundaries are healthy. They're absolutely healthy to have boundaries. And now you have a person who is growing up with a certain amount of self-worth. Once you destroy that self-worth, I mean, you don't want to give up your social media because I could post a half-naked picture and get 1,000 likes. You get the point? Come on.
If I may,
go ahead.
Does that have to do with a generational thing? I'm asking because growing up, I'm an 80s baby. I don't remember that was like a normal in the household to see. Of course, you know, I grew up in the Caribbean, but to see my father or, you know, my mother.
You would see it less with men. You would see it's kind of less with men.
If I may, sir.
Go ahead.
As far as the nakedness part, because I feel like it was like a barrier that now didn't exist back then. There was a barrier that existed back then growing up that I don't see like you're saying right now. There's definitely a time lapse and a systematic breakdown of the family. And it started when the man was being removed from the home. First, the authority of him being removed, and then him being removed. Also, because when they have a child, the mother, when the baby is young, gets used to being naked around the child. She damn near has to undress to feed the child. Then there's a time the child stops feeding. And now the mother's still changing the child. And then there's a time you don't have to change the child no more. In our community, and just far and wide, because these studies was done on a lot of other nations, but just far and wide, there's no graduating of those different time periods. Like you graduate a class, you're not in first grade no more, you're in fifth. So you ain't doing the shit from first grade. There's a continuation of it. That's what happens. So because the child was on mommy's breast, the child gets to see mommy's breast. Because you've been changing the child, you could just walk in the bathroom. You could have you have something to tell the child, you pull the curtain, so and so and so, and you talking to them normal. That's not normal. And once again, this is in the absence of the sexual predators. This is not talking about molestation or anything. This is just talking about, this is how the household is run. You understand? This is just how it is. The child comes into the room, mommy getting dressed. Mommy's drying off and creaming skin and stuff like that. And it's normal, the child is there. The child walks around the house in underwear. Get the point? We think that's normal. The child's supposed to be clothed out. Put a vest on it, put a t-shirt, put shorts on the boy. Not just walking around in underwear, in drawers. You get the point? Mother walking around in underwear. Father walking around bareback. Because this is my house. Don't cover them whatever up. Cover it up. Get some sweatpants. Get something long below your knees. You want to establish boundaries. Okay, to everybody, most people hearing me say this would be like, man, this nigga tripping. That ain't nothing. It's nothing. How many years have you been married? What's the relationship like with, you and other people? And it comes from this. It comes from just no boundaries. A child, because I was going to read it. The child effectively has to function as an adult and don't know what the hell to do. And then they develop reactions to not knowing what to do. And those reactions turn into coping mechanisms and trauma bonds. And before long, they're an adult and they're in the same situation. They have a woman or they have a man, and emotional bonding comes, and then they switch off. Why are you so cold? It's like I'm talking to you, but you ain't feeling me. I'm listening to you, but
I don't think we connecting. Yeah, it comes from that. It comes from that. You get the point? Let's read on some more.
An adult should turn to other adults for adult issues.
Say it again.
An adult should turn to other adults for adult issues.
Say it one more time.
An adult should turn to other adults for adult issues.
Go ahead.
They should talk about their troubles with them. Issues that come up in adult relationships should stay within the adult relationships.
Now, how much? I mean, this is how much people you hear. You hear it especially in our music, the hip hop music, the R&B. They had to go, do this for mama because daddy left and niggas wasn't shit. How you know that? I remember being at the table and mommy crying because somebody broke her heart. Fuck, you know that? Because you being included in these adult situations that you shouldn't be. You shouldn't cry to some boy or some girl about it. And the boy, usually, the sister would try to make him the prince. Or, that's my little prince.
Right.
Yeah, a classic example. Everybody was like sickened when Kodak Black squeezed his mother's ass and kissed her in the mouth. Remember in that club? He came and he squeezed her behind. And people was like, what the hell is this? And what did he say? That's how we do. And his mother knew that people wasn't supposed to see that because she pushed away his hand. You remember the video? She kind of pushed his hand away. But he was like, what's you tripping for? That's how we normally do. Because Kodak Black replaced her husband. You get the point? That's normal. What happens with the girls? The girl become the competition. She start hating the girl. You get the point? That's really what it comes down to. You understand? But it comes from the displacement of you now seeking validation in a child just because the child is in the room. You can't do that. You're destroying the future. You just can't do it. Let's get some more.
A basic.
Like where you at? Yeah. Hold on, just on. Yeah, go ahead.
A basic need for all children is nurturing. They grow through time, and their parents should allow them to grow with time.
Nurturing is, repeated, repetitive maintenance. That's the best way to describe nurturing. Repeated, repetitive maintenance. It's taking a bath, putting on lotion, brushing your teeth. You get tired of this shit. How many times you laying down there watching the Netflix? And it's like, damn, I'm falling asleep. I'll brush my teeth tomorrow. I'll brush it twice in the morning for tonight. No, nigga, just, be disciplined and go do this shit. I'm just giving you the example of it on something that people can identify with. But now, the child needs the nurturing. What the child doesn't need to is to nurture you. The child doesn't need to repeatedly maintain you. You get the point? You can't put that on them. They're not built for that. Remember, they don't have a datum or a point of reference. What they see, this is the first time they're seeing it all the time. You understand? They don't have nothing else to compare it to. So this is their reality. This is normal. So Kodak Black squeezes mama. This is normal. You get the point? An adult has a point of reference. So when you come with this thing, you'll be like, nah, man, you shouldn't do that. Just, oh, yeah, well, that makes sense. A child don't have that. So whatever is, don't worry, mommy, I still love you. Don't worry, mommy, don't cry. I'll never leave you. And between that age and 40, you done had 10 women and none of them with you. You don't understand why. You get the point? Keep going.
A basic need for all children is nurturing. They grow through time, and their parents should allow them to grow through time. If children are forced to adopt adult behaviors, an emotionally abusive relationship may be created.
Now, understand that. You're forced to adopt adult behaviors. Now, you have, just take a black family, right? Father is out the home, single mother. Sometimes the other way around, but it's predominantly that way. And the child has to hear from one parent or the other or both about the other parent. This is a child, nigga. Buy Lego. Buy, Pokemon. Go play.
Right.
Daddy, where's mommy? I don't know, but, while you're here, we gonna have fun. Mommy, where's daddy? He working. He gonna come on around when, he's done. Let's go play video games. Your father sent this for you. Your mother sent this for you. Not, he always do this. She always do that.
Right.
The child can't. It's too much. It's too much. You're destroying the child. And now they grow up and they have problems in their own relationships because they ain't been nurtured. They ain't, there's a part of them that's missing. And it's really the bonds, the regular bonds. They don't have that. They don't, the muscles that they should be exercising growing up for that, they don't have it. And it's weak when they reach to the adult age. Right? We're going to get some more. Anybody say anything? Any questions or we good?
We're good, sir.
Okay, let's go. Hold on. Let me see. I think we might need to skip this one. Hold on. Please,
How do you combat that then? Like, what you say is so heavy because I know a lot of brothers and sisters may be experiencing that with a woman or man they no longer with. And that woman have a vendetta against that man because that man left her 10 years ago and she's still not over it and constantly talking to a child.
Well, once again, like I say, it's so layered and it our community, because of the oppression, the environment is there for it to happen. So, okay, what you just laid out there was it's separate things that could also happen all at once. So really, whoever is in it needs to come into the truth. Whether you're the father being talked about or the father doing the talking about the mother or the child that grew up in it, you just need to come into the truth here first. And there you will learn the oppressor is the devil the Bible speaks of. And the reason you're having problems, as an adult is because he's the devil. That's the first thing. Then you're going to have to relearn everything and relearn the bonds. Because a lot of issues with the bonding comes from trust issues. You're going to start having trust issues because you don't inherit them from mommy's tears. You get the point? So now you just have an aversion. Or you can't really emotionally get attached to anybody because you had to be strong for mommy because she's crying so much to you. You get the point? She's breaking down and she doesn't understand she's hurting you. You get the point? When normally she would have to cry on that man and that man would tell her what to do and that man would check her. All right, it's time to stop that shit now. You've been crying, you've been sad for the last 2 days. Do this, do that. Yeah, I know it hard. Go out there, go for a walk. Do something, take your mind. That boy can't tell her that. How are you telling him that? You can't tell her that shit. You get the point? So it's come into the truth. You come into the truth, you talk to your camp leader gonna put you in touch with a counselor. You're gonna get to unpack a lot of the shit. And once you start realizing where the shit comes from, it's easier to start to deal with the thing. Really, everybody just had to become brand new. The cure to every problem is just to kill the old person. It's, mafia style, man. Go bury that nigga in the bush somewhere and come out and be brand new and all that shit never happened and then you start fresh. You start fresh. All your references start now. Like, this is how I operate. This is the healthy environment. This is what I do. I'm not doing that shit I grew up in. You get the point? You start getting counsel, it starts getting better. You start ridding yourself of that thing. But the problem is, as a people, as the 12 tribes of Israel, this is normal. This is normal, and we think it's normal, and we think, it's just how this person, we blame it on other things. We blame it on this person's horoscope. They are Cancer, so Cancers and Geminis don't mix, and they get so specific. They have the months, because the horoscope cross months. So the Cancer in the end of February is different from the one in the beginning of March, nigga. And listen, I'm on the cusp of it. I'm on February 28th. I just missed the bad side of the shit. You get the point? That ain't got shit to do with it. It's that dysfunctional house you grew up in. And you done went through this emotional incest and had to process a ton of shit when you was young. And you don't know it. And the brain is damn near like a computer where shit could be stored in there and it's not even part of your conscious operation. But it's affecting how you process stuff. You get the point? And that's really what it is. Let me get some more here before the time runs out, all right? Yeah, go ahead with that one.
The basics of emotional incest syndrome. Dr. Kenneth Adams coined the term emotional incest syndrome in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
Though this term is commonplace, others refer to emotional incest syndrome as covert incest, covert incest syndrome, or enmeshment.
Mm-hmm.
All these terms refer to the same condition.
Right, enmeshment, like you in a mesh, it's just a confusing, overwhelming situation for a child.
Right.
For adults, it's easier to process because you have references to draw from. You have a GPS down there, spiritually and emotionally. A child don't have that. It's just floating like, why she crying? Who's here? Why is this happening? How can I stop them from crying? You can't. It's just you just floating. It's unfair for a child. Keep going.
The emotional incest syndrome occurs when a parent relies on a child for emotional support.
Mm-hmm.
The adult shares personal information with the child as if the child was their peer.
You can't be friends with your children. You can't sit down there and rap to them like they your friends. You didn't go high school with them, man. You didn't do that. That's unfair to the child. Go ahead.
The adult forces the child to satisfy their needs for intimacy and companionship.
Mm-hmm. And the needs for intimacy here, of course, is non-sexual. Even though they have cases of this emotional incest that did turn sexual, but by and large, this is not a sexual thing. This is just a deeply emotional attachment. Right? Go ahead. And the intimacy here is the sitting down and watching, the movies and massaging. Let me let you read. Go ahead.
The child feels like they are an adult.
Say it again.
The child feels like they are an adult.
Say it one more time.
The child feels like they are an adult.
Everybody know that situation. The child, look at you so grown. Look at them, they're so grown. Say that again, and they're talking like if they're adult, and they're talking to adults in an adult conversation and giving an opinion. I think you should do so. You should no. Right. Go ahead.
So there's a kid. He has a profile online and whatnot, and he's funny. He was funny when I first would watch him. He would be funny at first, but now a few years later, now I'm in the truth, and I see him. I see his mother. Like I've never seen his mother on the
podcast,
on whatever videos that they put out. But she's always behind the camera taking the video. But the way he moves, the way he talks, that's all his mother. There's never a man in any of the videos, but it's his mother. People comment, man, that boy needs to be with his father, like, because his mannerisms, the way he's talking, the way he's moving, is all his mother.
And once again, the environment is there to have that sort of emotional imbalance. The environment is there for us. That's the issue. The issue is we live in that fishbowl where this thing grows. You get the point? If we wasn't in this situation, they wouldn't have room for that to grow, because you would have a brother who's in authority, his masculinity, his antennas is now up because he has a family he takes care of. He's gonna be turned on. He's energized to do the job, and he's gonna be like, "Woman, go put some clothes." Walking around soon. You know what I mean? There's certain things you don't do in front of your child as a spouse. Right. You get the point? It's just the child in the room. You get the point?
Okay.
But there's normal things you would do. Hugging, leaning on them, certain type of kiss. Beyond that, you're not doing it. Right. You get the point? Because why? How you know? Okay, this is how it's so simple, but it's not normal for us in life. This is how you know children can't deal with it. Children see you hugging and kissing, what they do? No, before they even get there, their first reaction is what?
It's nasty.
It's nasty. God damn. They walk in your room, and they walk back out. Now take that and go and confess to this child what you did for this person, and they left you. And brother, come on. You're damaging the person. Now the child has to take that, still go to school, still have fun, still do chores, still be a child, go through puberty, and then now you're an adult and be here. And you know what? I ain't gonna form these bonds with nobody because I see what forming bonds did to my mother and father. You know, I'm just casual sex, dabble in whatever else, or I'm having no sex at all. You have an aversion to it. You get the point? Either you're not committed and you're just having a ton of sex, or you ain't having none at all. There's a whole name for it. I forget what type of sexual it is, where you never sexually attracted to nobody. You get the point? You're never emotionally invested in nobody, and it comes from growing up in that type of environment. You get the point? That show on that I can't remember if it's Netflix or Amazon, that Swarm, that Beyonce show they try to make. They have articles now talking about the acting and how it's so dynamic, and them is two dysfunctional ass broads that grew up in a horrible house. One is over sexualized and one totally don't want sex at all. And then the one she eventually has sex with is a white man, which lets you know where the interracial stuff come from too. It comes from this. You don't have the tools when you was growing up to see a normal, healthy interaction. So you eventually get it somewhere else. Don't get it at all. That's it, and you live your life like that. Go ahead.
I'm not sure if you mentioned it before, but like you said, and this also where those now alternative attractions come in with the LGBTQ.
Yep.
That's where it come in. As well.
That's definitely. That's where it comes into it. You have a definition for each facet of this coping mechanism, because remember, children are complex. Remember, from children, you're gonna get your tennis stars, your Venus and Serena Williams, you get your Michael Jordans, you get your Usain Bolts, you're gonna get your Johnny Cochrans, you're gonna get your Chris Rock, you're gonna get your Will Smith. Those were once children. They're multifaceted. They're gonna be the wide range of society. Your favorite gym teacher, your high school teacher, your gardener, your gas station owner. They're going to grow up from that. So now you put them in this type of environment, they're going to develop these different sexual aspects that now we all have to come and name. Sapiosexual, pansexual, frivolosexual, isiosexual, all that type of nonsense, and comes from an unstable upbringing. Right? Let's go.
It's like it. The child feels like they are an adult, but the child is not capable of discussing adult issues.
Now that's the heavy part. You make the child feel like they're grown. Well, I'm grown. I can handle things. All right. We had this bill, that bill, that bill, and this is all we have to pay the bills. What we doing? Crickets.
Right.
They can't handle adult issues, though they feel like they're an adult. That same child, 15 years later, I'm grown. I could handle marriage. First argument, crickets. You still that child who can't handle adult issues. Right. You never actually mentally and spiritually grew up into adult. Right. Your body did, but you didn't. You get the point? Go ahead.
The adult-child relationship is violated. With the child forced to be...
Wait, no, which paragraph you on?
The third one in that...
in the basics. Yeah, go ahead. Read it again. The adult child.
The adult-child relationship is violated with the child forced to act beyond their capacity.
Now, take that to our society where I was 10 having to be man of the house. Right. I had to watch everybody. And okay, now you could have that and not have the emotional incest part. But I'm saying that type of household, it creates the environment for that thing to start happening, because you're put in an adult role young and you had to figure this out, and that's not normal for somebody. It's not normal, and now we've wondered why we have adults who spaz out and do a whole ton of crazy shit. All right, let's go.
In a relationship with an emotional incest syndrome, overt sexual abuse is not often present, but sex can be a component of it. Adults may ask their children for massages or talk with their children about sex. An emotional incest syndrome often occurs in an opposite sex relationship. It's like a relationship with one parent. But it can occur in a same-sex relationship or with both parents. Guardians and other caregivers can form emotionally incestuous relationships with children.
Right. What it means to say is it usually occurs with like a mother and son or father and daughter.
Right.
Opposite sex relationships with a single parent, or it could be both parents with the same, like mother, father, son. Right, where it's just like they make movies about it. One of them movies,
Johnson's.
Not the Johnson, not that it could be that one. It was the one Steve Harvey did. It was a Think Like a Man, where the guy who took over from 106 and Park, he acted in it and he had an issue being a mama's boy. And the whole movie, they made fun of him because he had a woman, but everything was he had to go do this for his mother, that for his mother, this for his mother, that for his mother, because this is it. They make this is part of our community, whether they want to admit the shit or not. I'm just the messenger. You don't want to admit it to me, but I'm just trying to help you out. Come on.
It's like if I make sure this topic is such a heavy topic too. So I remember when I graduated high school, I went and did a semester of college, and I was trying to figure out, now these feelings that I was having, and that most of the people that I was interacting with are people that had the same experiences. And I remember just trying to scouring the internet and trying to figure out, like, okay, I'm trying to find something to describe how I came up. I remember coming across this term, and I'm reading all the different components, and I'm like, damn, this happened. And my mom would come show me the bills. This was after, of course, she divorced my father and kicked him out the house.
Right.
And that's
the key thing.
Right.
Not having that. Okay. I'm going to say not having the man there because of how slanted society is now.
Right.
So definitely him just not being there is everything. Right. But really it's that healthy, normal environment.
Right.
Now, that happened to us where this was a systematic attack on our community to plan where 20 years down the line, the kids going to be crackheads selling drugs, we're going to have them.
Right.
This is what is the other fallout of it.
Okay.
You have that alphabet community that there's the same-sex spouses having these damn kids.
Right.
And these kids have to process that. You think this generation out here is wild. Wait 25 more years.
Right.
And unpack that shit. This year, we unpacking stuff from the 80s and the 70s with adults who they studied over the last 10 years and they could see this. Christ ain't come back here. 2045. There'll be a whole other thing going on.
Right.
You get the point?
Okay.
Skip me down to examples of emotional incest syndrome.
Okay. Examples of emotional incest syndrome. Every person's experience with emotional incest syndrome is unique, but there are some common behaviors that fall under emotional incest. The parent or caregiver may expect praise from the child. They may be unable to complete work without the child giving them praise.
No, that's not, it's nothing to sneeze at. That's what it is. You get the point. They have to have that now, instead of having the validation from the adult partner, the validation comes from the child.
Right.
So now really the child is the parent in the relationship.
Right.
You get the point? Go ahead.
Okay. The caregiver can become upset if the child is not paying attention to them. When the caregiver cries or becomes angry, the child has to comfort them.
That there is the beginning of when the mother start hating the daughter. You understand? We used to be best friends. Now you don't, you forget all about me, blah, 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 blah. And now it turns to animosity. Right? Go ahead.
Poor or non-existent boundaries are common. A parent or caregiver may invade the child's privacy. They may go into the child's room even when the child asks them to leave. They may be nude around the child or around the child when they are nude.
Now, of course, the whole asking the parent to leave, I'm not talking about what you see with the oppressor's house. This is my space. I'm not talking about that shit.
Right.
I'm talking about when they bust in. Hey, yo, I'm changing. You don't knock? You're supposed to, Salakia, I apologize. Close that door.
Right.
You can't just, I pay the bills around here, and I've seen your little thing here since you was here. You forgot I changed you? Does that sound normal? That's when I say normal. That sounds familiar to most people.
Right.
That shit ain't normal.
Right.
So, oh, snap. I'll come back. When you're done, when you change, I want to talk to you about something. It's important. No, that would reinforce with the child. This, I'm valuable. I have a value. You can't see this. I'm healthy. I'm mentally. Not they feeling violated. Like, damn, man.
Right.
You done seen me, and you know what I mean?
Right. Okay.
And now from there, you have the stepping stone to the molestation, because now this could be, you know, that's your uncle. That's not the uncle.
Right.
But man, you a child, I ain't even worrying about that. Right. And then they're watching you over the table, and then you see it with the kids, like they're looking at me funny, giving me these looks. Mm-hmm. Comes from that, the crossing the borders, crossing the boundaries. Right. You break them boundaries down, that child ain't gonna grow up normal. Right? What else you have? And of course, the nude around the child, or being around the child when they are nude, that's, you know, the child's supposed to have that in them. Right. You get the point? Go ahead. And of course, like a nude goes butt naked and also just underdressed. Right. A child shouldn't see you in that underwear. Shouldn't see you in them booty shorts. Right. Your man, that child don't have to see you topless, man. Your muscles, goddamn. Right. Shit. You cover that shit up, man. Grab a shirt before you leave the room. Don't walk around the house in a whole ton of shorts and shit. You know, get some proper pants that, you know, respect your manhood. Right. You get the point? You ain't got to show your child everything. Right. And okay, this is the other thing too. This is the other thing that's missing. That first time they see somebody naked as an adult, it should be a whole ride of a whirlwind. When that marriage chamber comes, it's supposed to be like, damn, this is how this is built. Damn, shit. Instead of you already know this shit, and then you in there with this person, and you have, yeah, go ahead, brother. And then you have these preconceived bridges you had to cross because you done seen mommy, you know, and daddy shit. I know you hear this person, and you can't fully get in there. You get the point? It's just ridiculous. Hold on.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Go ahead, Slaki. Go ahead.
I heard Officer Leather's he had mentioned it about the generational thing, and that I think
he's right outside.
Yeah, come on.
No, sir, I'm on.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. He mentioned that because I remember as an adult, we having conversations with my pops about certain things, like just the culture of how I came up with my mother. Mm-hmm. And he remember him telling me, he remember growing up with both his parents, and it was like his parents' room was like a sacred chamber where it's like he never knew.
It's off limits. It's off limits. I'm trying to tell you, like, what the hell you coming in here for? Right. Knock on that damn door, else you could lose your teeth. Yeah, I mean, not literally, but I keep the threats alive because that's it. You just don't know. There's boundaries that's healthy. There's absolute boundaries that are healthy. And okay, even the alphabet community, they like to say the kids could make up their own minds. Right. That's treating the child like an adult. That's the first part of the sexual abuse is the emotional abuse. Is the, we treat them like this and we ask them about this and that, and no, a man has to be there to be like, no, you ain't doing that. Right. Go ahead.
Sir, just like you were saying, how we as a nation are destroyed. Even when when we're watching TV or a movie or something like that, and a parent knocks on the child's door and knocks to come in, we think, well, hold up, that's your house. Why don't you just walk on in there? Mm-hmm. Because you're the parent, you're the adult. You pay all the bills, and that's your house. But just like when you're breaking it down, you're supposed to set the boundaries.
It's a courtesy. It's an absolute courtesy. Now, this is the other thing. You grew up in you in the truth. You have your household. Your household would be decent. There's a time you bathe. You're obviously not bathing now. I could walk in. I would knock if I know this is bathing time or whatever. Right. But for them to get from the bathroom to the room naked would mean they coming out the bathroom not dressed. Right. You could start saying, don't do that. Right. Dry off, throw some clothes on, then go in the room. Just don't get used to being all naked in all type of spaces like that. You get the point? It could happen. What happens, Sunday morning, you drink too much, you go bathe, you walk out there in the towel, you get caught in the tracks. Oh shit, you wasn't supposed to see that. Just, you know, you really want to have those type of boundaries. You get the point? It's really not normal. All right, what else we have?
The caregiver may become jealous of the child's relationship. They may ruin playdates so the child spends time with them.
Oh, say that again.
They may
keep an eye on brother there.
They may ruin playdates so the child spends time with them.
Not just playdates. Not just playdates. Akim, Akwafi. They ruin that pickup when that other parent had to come pick you up. When it's time for you to go, when is the other parent's weekend? You ruin the whole thing. You hear how they say they ruin the play date, meaning this person was supposed to go there, so they make it seem like they can't go there so they can spend time with them. It's emotional incest syndrome. God damn. Let there be some distance, man. Let there be some, you know, you want the child to be an adult, just, you know, let them grow. Don't, you know, you just want to smother everything down. You get the point? Go ahead.
The caregiver may sabotage a child's romantic relationships as an adult and position them as a surrogate spouse. Dr. Patricia Love summarizes.
Hold on, wait, which paragraph here?
That's right before getting help. What paragraph up, sir?
Okay, read that last paragraph again. The caregiver may become jealous.
The caregiver may become jealous of the child's relationship.
Mm-hmm.
They may ruin play dates so the child spends time with them.
Right. So now they're talking about play dates, but it's also the ruining of going to the other parent, and we've seen that so many times. Mm-hmm. There was a viral video where this brother, I think him and the woman, they meet in a neutral spot to exchange a child. He got there. She want to walk the child into the car and buckle the child in, and the brother wouldn't let her do it. And she's like, why? You got a bitch up in there, so and so and so. And they get into a full-out argument, and then she took the child back. Yeah. Right there. And he's like, I drove all the way out here. Why don't you just give me the child? And she's making up all these excuses and saying, come on, you see, he's not ready to receive you. Look at how he's acting. See how he treat me? I'm taking the child back. Emotional incest syndrome. Right. You get the point? The child is not going to grow up normal. Right. Not going to grow up, you know, with faculties and being able to function normally. Even in that situation, a cordial, decent handoff does millions miles better than that shit. You get the point? Even if you all can't be in the house together, there's a certain amount of, you know, being an adult and being cordial with each other. It could help. It could, you know, it could make that child be like, you know, I've you know, seen this. This is how you deal with this. This is how you deal with that. But when you put that sort of emotional trauma on them, it's dangerous. Yeah. All right. Go ahead, Art.
They may ruin play dates so the child spends time with them.
So look, is he still standing there?
He walked out to right before.
Could he go sit in the classes? You could give him, yeah, please. You want to pass the key off to him? Sure. Yeah. Just tell him I say it's better he just go sit in the car instead. How far down you park? Right here? No, sir. Just tell him I say better he go sit in the car instead of staying there. All right, go ahead, Bukwaj.
The caregiver may sabotage a child's romantic relationships as an adult and position them as a surrogate spouse.
That's, you know, everybody knows that part. Like I mentioned the movie that they made. That's just one movie I'm talking about. There's so many movies and shows where that's a factor in it. That, you know, you can't leave mama. Mama had to be here. Your mama is your wife, and then your rib is your other wife. You get the point? You're married to both of them. It occurs less with a father and a daughter, but it does occur. You get the point? But the majority of times is usually that, not because women are worse. It's the society environment. The environment gives women the power to dictate things when the marriage goes south. And because of that, she's a victim of the whole thing anyway. And now it creates the environment for that. You get what I'm saying? It creates that environment. You have many brothers who singles fathers and they raise regular kids, regular ass kids, and put them straight into the marriage. It does happen, but more of that thing happens when the mother is there. Give me she's the weaker vessel. So now you get this thing, this emotional incest thing, brother. There's a whole other article I read about a person who went through the therapy for it. And he went through the therapy for over about a decade, so much that he became a psychologist himself. And brother, he started to talk about how he could not maintain a relationship with a woman. And he tried and he tried and he tried, and he couldn't do it. And he found that he would, what's the word? Is euphoria? He found that he would go from high to high. The only part of the relationship he would enjoy is the getting part. He's hooked on the getting. He could get them, keep them for 1 2 years, and then that's it. Sometimes shorter. You get the point? And he just went from, and he couldn't lock in, and it came from that thing. He couldn't lock in for no long haul. He couldn't get emotionally invested. You know, he couldn't be there to support the other person. He wasn't emotional around them. He was like a stone. And, you know, it took him years to get, you know, therapy for it. And he himself is, you know, a therapist, right?
It's like, okay, so you saying that this dude, he would get them, and then he would just, you know, become emotionless?
He was always emotionless. But, you know, the getting involves the chase, you know, the dating, the figuring the person out, you know. After you figure the person out, the shit is boring. I'm telling you straight up and down. The shit ain't that first thing. That first thing, okay, when I say boring, I don't want to, nobody take it the wrong way, all right? So, like, let me take that back. It's not at all boring. But, okay, what I mean to say is that initial thing, where, you know, she have butterflies, y'all talking on the phone till 3 in the morning, you know what I mean? Y'all, you know, you're doing shit it comes effortlessly because this is the chase. When you done get the food and y'all done do the do, and it's, you know, the newness wear off, to keep that feeling, you have to work at that, because the novelty is gone. It's like, you know, the novelty is a new car, right? You got a new car. Do you know, go extra board everywhere? Like, do you press the gas all the way down? Nah. You drive that new car delicate, right? Yep. 3 years later, what you do? The rims scratching on the curb. You're backing up. You're driving it a little drunker than you would have the new car. When you get the new car, you know, you're like Drake when they offer you the drink. About 3 years later, yeah, I'll drive. If I hit it, the insurance gonna get it. Right. It takes discipline and work to be the same way. You get the point? Some people don't have that in them, because with that, it takes character. It takes a certain amount of character. You have to be emotionally invested into something. Just think like a child. You raising a child, 2 o'clock in the night when that diaper wet and that child's screaming, what are you gonna do? Just, I ain't changing it? No, you're gonna get up and do it. No matter how tired you feel, how hungry you are, you're gonna get up and do it. And that child gonna cry. And then after you done change the diaper, if you don't know the tricks about, you know, putting the wipes by the heater so the wipes is warm. Some of y'all learn the hard way. It's cold outside. The wipes is cold. You pull the cold towel out, put it on the baby. Now they fully woke, and they ain't going back to sleep, nigga. So they're dry now. Now they're up, and now you up until 6, until it's time to go to the slave. But you do it anyway. You get the point? You do it anyway because this is your duty. You know, in adult relationships need that level of discipline and commitment, or else they're going to fail. You get the point? Or else they're just going to fall apart. And a lot of it comes from this thing here. Really, the root of it for us is the single parent homes. Right? That's where it starts, because it creates that environment. And it just gets worse from there. All right, give me weaker vessel.
1 Peter.
Give me Mark 3 and 27.
Chapter 3, verse 7.
No. What? That's weak of vessel. Oh, Salaki, go ahead.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
Say it again.
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge.
Right? Dwell with them according to knowledge, man. Be wise. Understand these, the sisters, and I'm saying it this way again. I explained it because you're put in a position that you shouldn't be in because of the oppressor. Right? He done tricked you into kicking the man out. You don't need a man, don't need no man, but you need that child. That's my little prince. No, he's not. He's your son. That's your daughter, nigga.
Right.
Like, what the hell are we talking about? We're busy turning them. That whole boys to man, I can't go a day without my mama. You heard they say, mama. Oh, that's emotional. Come on, man. You went through emotional incest. What the hell what are you going on for that for with your mom?
Right.
Come on. I know that's your mother, but god damn. What about your father? You went through life without him, though.
Right.
You've been with your mother your whole life, but you can't go a day without her. There might be a broad. That might be a rib.
Right. Like
Buy her a red corsage.
If I could, I was
for the uneducated female dog who was questioning me earlier.
Right.
Salaki, go ahead.
Sir, I was reading up on Kobe Bryant, and when he was going to his prom, he brought Brandy there, right?
Right.
And,
I think they was together at the time.
Lobster.
They wasn't together at all?
Lobster. They were, yeah.
Bullshit. So they was just underage and they didn't want nobody. He didn't want to catch no charge for sliding in for fourth base.
Salaki.
Go ahead.
So his manager, one of the people was on his team before he went to turn pro.
Mm-hmm.
He was on the same group, like management tour with Boys and Men.
Mm-hmm.
And Brandy was 17. He was 17. But one of the Boys and Men was dating Brandy. Yeah. He was dating Brandy at that time. He was 22, she was 17. And he had a problem because it was supposed to be a PR thing to get him to go to prom. And he had an issue with him Kobe taking his girl to his prom.
I mean, listen, just come to the Passover. Right? $200 for everybody. 17 years and over. 17 and over. I'm saying again, 17 and over, $200. I mean, you boys to men, brother. 17. I mean, I guess.
They were dating for a while.
They were dating for a while. So before she was 17, they was dating. And you wonder why I put in a red corsage on my daughter? Right. It means don't come near. It means if you come near, you'll be seeing more than that red flower. You'll be seeing your own red insides. Like that's anyway. Whatever.
I'm helping.
Listen, and Bakwash is helping. You get the point? The ghost and the darkness, they're helping. Go watch that movie. You'll know what I'm talking about. All right. Will you read this again now?
Likewise, ye husbands, dwell with them according to knowledge, giving honor unto the wife as unto the weaker vessel.
Just remember that she's the weaker vessel. Because she's the weaker vessel, brother. Okay, she's not like you where you could go through something and hold it in until you see your homies or you see a father or another brother. Whoever is in the room is getting all them tears. She's, she can't, and that's fine. That's why you need to be there. The oppressor makes sure you ain't there. So, of course, he's creating the environment for the son now to be daddy. The son had to take the place of the mother, of the father, in all cases except the sexual side. And sometimes it crossed the line. You get the point? But no, he had to be mommy's boyfriend. You get the point? Give me Mark 3 and 27.
This is Mark chapter 3, verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
Our houses are spoiled because our strong men are bound, and bound on purpose.
Right.
On purpose. This oppressor made sure and got rid of brothers from the household. got rid of brother. Pharaoh tried to do it in Egypt by unaliving all the male children so he could destroy the house of Israel. You get the point? And being a man in Israel is very, very important. And okay, it's so, you know, by design how the society is, where it caters to women.
Right.
Like until coming into the UPK, I remember Jeremiah Hyman said it the first class I heard him say it. I didn't realize it until then. Every song on the radio is singing to some woman about nothing but superficial nonsense.
Right.
You get the point? You deserve this, you deserve that. Give me some. I can't remember them now. They're escaping me now. You're wonderful, you're this, you're that. I'll give you everything. I'll buy you the sun, the moon, the this, the that. And there's no accountability brought to her. Like, I see you put yourself through school. I see you got A's. I see you got, a bachelor's. I see you, you have this skill, you have that skill. And because of that, you are worthy. You get the point? Everything is so superficial and singing to her, praises to her. It's down there kind of like putting the child in an adult situation in spirit with the woman. It's putting her in a situation of, well, I'm worthy, I'm all that. And then when it's time to really produce your worth, crickets. Like, what do you bring to the table? But Usher and Chris Brown and then blowing up your head all day. You get the point?
Right.
It's, it's you, when you look at how society is, it's by slant and giving the sisters a certain amount of power. And once again, for those people who might think this is me hating sisters, this is not. I'm describing the dynamic to why our society is so dysfunctional.
Right.
You get the point? It's slanted to women and men are non-existent. The male energy is non-existent. Masculine energy is non-existent. And now you have these, the environment where you can have this emotional incest syndrome flourishing.
Right.
It's flourishing so much. Most people, don't even realize this was something that's not normal.
Right.
But that was normal life.
Right.
That was normal life. Everybody in the house, everybody running in the drawers. All the little kids. That shit ain't normal. That's go put some clothes on, man. You tell somebody that, it's like, no, man, what are you talking about? And then they flip it. Well, are you doing that because you like it? No.
Right.
That's not normal. Teach them to like to put clothes on.
Oh, God.
Come on.
It's like what you're saying is so heavy. I checked still some video, and that was like the dynamic. The kids, when the kids was undressed, the mother was undressed properly, and then the kids was running around the house undressed. And I said that very thing, and you'd be so surprised how many sisters were dysfunctional. I was like, this is because you attracted the kids, and you thinking like that. I was like, no, I grew up at one point with a father who taught me, nigga, go put a shirt on.
Go put a shirt on.
Tell my sisters, sit like this.
Yep.
And don't lay with your butt in the air. Like, don't stop. It's just, he was always instilling that in.
He's nurturing. Right. He's growing in the right way and maintaining.
Right.
You know what I mean? And you need that aspect there. Right. And as he's laying down the law, the mother comes with the softer blow, which gives the balance.
Exactly.
She gives the, well, they just playing, and then he look at it. Okay, they play.
Right.
I see they play. Well, that pants ain't that short.
Right.
Maybe we could get some bigger pants. You get the point? It comes with that balance.
Right.
But now we don't have that in our, it creates the environment for that shit.
Right.
And now you realize the level of dysfunction.
Right.
All right. Now before we roll, let me just get real quick. Passover. Give me Wisdom of Solomon. I think is 18 that I want. 17 or 18. But quite fine for me, the Passover in Exodus.
Wisdom of Solomon.
I think it's 18. I think Exodus 12. That's what one first, all right? Give me Exodus 12 and start at verse 2.
It's Exodus chapter 12 and verse 2. This month shall be unto you the beginning of months. It shall be the first month of the year to you.
Right. So now this is the month we're in. This is the new year here. Right. You see in DC. I don't know how much people who watching online know they have something called the Cherry Blossom Festival. People come from all over. Them Moabites love it. Them Moabites be down there on the mall. Hey, right? They be down there on that cherry blossom just to watch some trees blossom. And I believe it's the Moabites gave them the tree. Yeah, the Ammonites, right? I can't tell the difference. One slant is bigger than the other one. One of them who look like it, right? I think they gave them the tree, and they're all over the mall, all around the tidal basin, and they be down there. The whole thing be pinked out all this weekend. Everything gonna be pink. But this is the actual new year. It wasn't January 1st. All you fools who was down there drinking, locking yourself into some mess. The new year is now. We in the time of the new year in the first month, and we're going into the Passover, which is the 14th day of the first month, I believe. 14th or 12th? 14, right? 14th day. All right. Skip me down, Bakwash, to the hold on. Where we have the Passover.
Verse 12.
Go ahead.
Khan. This is
no, Salakia. It's right there. Keep going from verse 3.
Verse 3. Speak ye unto all the congregation of Israel, saying, in the 10th day of this month they shall take to them every man a lamb, according to the house of their fathers, a lamb for a house. And if the household be too little for the lamb, let him and his neighbor next unto his house take it according to the number of the souls. Every man according to his eating shall make your count for the lamb. Your lamb shall be without blemish, a male of the first year. Ye shall take it out from the sheep or from the goats, and ye shall keep it unto the 14th day of the same month. And the whole assembly of the congregation of Israel shall kill it in the evening. And they shall take of the blood and strike it on the two sides, and shall strike it on the two side posts on the upper doorposts of the houses wherein they shall eat it.
Right. So now that was to mark the house, because the Lord was sending the angel of death through Egypt. When you look at our bondage in Egypt, remember Pharaoh was trying to unalive all the male babies. He was trying to, Planned Parenthood everybody, to commit genocide on everybody and just wipe Israel out. Not to mention all the hard labors, not to mention the oppression. The Lord was coming to repay Egypt. So now this angel of death is like the Lord sending a hitman, like a drive-by. Everybody like mafia movies, right? They like to see when Paulie had to go visit somebody and Jimmy 2 times come to break your legs. Well, the Lord was sending a hitman to visit Egypt. And this hitman don't think of the Lord like, what they show in the movies. The Lord sending somebody whose whole purpose is to make you unalive. And he don't care who. He don't care how young, how old. And he needs a sign to stop him. And if that sign ain't there, you gain it. He don't have no allegiance. He don't, he ain't got no favorites here. So now to stop him from coming into your house, you had to have that door on over your doorpost, over the threshold of your door, that frame. You had that blood up and down across. So he come there, he see that blood, he know, okay, I'm gonna move on to the next house that's ain't got no blood on it, right? Now give me verse 12. Now the other verses, I'm gonna skip it for time's sake. You could read it. It gives you the whole ingredients for the Passover, for the lamb, how it's to be roasted. It's not to be stewed or make us sodden in water. Right. It's to be roasted with bitter, because this was a quick meal. Right. This was a quick meal because the next day was our freedom, was our independence from Egypt. Right? Go ahead.
This Exodus 12:12. For I will pass through the land of Egypt this night, and I will smite all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, both man and beast, and against all the gods of Egypt I will execute judgment. I am the Lord.
Exactly. The Lord came through and said, since you came for my firstborn, I'm going to come for yours.
Right.
And not just your firstborn, the animals, the insects, everybody who was firstborn got it. And I mean, that had to be horrible, where it's just, whoever, that's how you know, they were the firstborn.
Right.
Well, you drop dead, you unalive that night, you the firstborn. Right, go ahead.
Verse 13. And the blood shall be to you for a token upon the house where ye are. And when I see the blood, I will pass over you.
That's where you get the word Passover from.
Right.
We celebrate Passover because the Lord, the angel of death, the hitman for the Lord, passed over us and went to the Egyptians, went to the heathens, and smote them utterly. Go ahead.
And the plague shall not be upon you to destroy you when I smite the land of Egypt.
The plague wouldn't be on us. Go ahead.
And this day shall be unto you for a memorial.
For what?
A memorial.
For what?
A memorial.
April 1st is a memorial unto the Lord. Go ahead. A high holy day. Go ahead.
And ye shall keep it as a feast to the Lord throughout your generations.
Right. Go ahead.
Ye shall keep it as a feast by an ordinance forever.
Exactly. And that's where we are. Forever. We're going wherever we at. No matter whichever, wherever we at in our captivity, we're going to keep it. You'll have fools saying we're not supposed to keep the Passover because we're not in our own land. We could only keep the Passover in our own land. Well, dummy, where was the first Passover? In our own land? You idiot. Was it probably the very first one that Moses kept? Was that in our own land, dummy? I think we didn't even have a land just yet. We were just a people. You're just stupid. That's all. You're just stupid. You're spiritually slow. You need to come up in here and pay some tithes and get some understanding, and really just do what the hell you're told. There's better men in here than you. Just follow that. Go ahead.
If I could, they didn't have keep the Passover in their land for the next 40 years. The next 40 Passovers.
All right then. All right. They was in the wilderness with that lamb.
Right.
You get the point? They was in the wilderness for 40 years. Didn't have no lamb. So what they did then? They didn't have no Passover. They're stupid. In all your dwellings. Keep reading on. Verse 15.
Verse 15. 7 days shall ye eat unleavened bread. Even the first day ye shall put away leaven out of your houses. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the seventh day, that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
Right. You're supposed to now keep the feast of unleavened bread, which starts really that night, but we keep the feast the next day, which is April 2nd. Right, go ahead. That's why we eat unleavened bread for Passover, because it really starts that night. They're one and the same. They tie to each other. But that first night is Passover, and we observe the feast of unleavened bread starting the night before. But that day after that Passover night, you're not supposed to have leavening either, because that morning we kicked out. We gone, right? Come on.
It's like when I was in Morocco. These niggas,
this nigga was in Morocco. Sisters, he was in Morocco. He knows some shit. He knows some shit you ain't never see. Put that white corsage on your forehead when you see Bakwash. Put that shit up here like this. Go ahead,
sir. They be it's copied so much that I didn't even know what was going on when I was there. They had I would hear like some strange noises. Come to find out, like Ramadan was coming up, and they had a lamb, and they would have to hold that lamb there for a certain amount of time, and then when some festival starts, then they can kill it and do whatever. And I'm reading this, I'm like, it's exactly what
it all comes from us. It all comes from us. The Ramadan is supposed to be the 40 days Christ fasted. And that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be that thing. It's a mix of that and the Day of Atonement. Come on.
Fast for 40 days, sir?
The Ramadan, so I think it's last a month, right?
It's I want to say it's like 40 days, but they don't eat until sundown.
But that's their version of it. That's their whole, thing. And that lamb that they're supposed to kill, I believe, unalive, I believe they all stabbed that joker. It's not like, this thing here with us. I believe they all, go in there. Some was dumps it, but they take everything from us, right? Give me verse 16.
Verse 16. And in the first day there shall be an holy convocation, and in the 7th day there shall be an holy convocation to you. No matter of work shall be done in them, save that every man, save that which every man must eat, that only may be done of you.
Right? You supposed to eat. What we supposed to have for this unleavened bread, brother, is just a whole week off and partying and celebrating this whole thing. Yeah, if we come together on that first day and on that 7th day to close out. You get the point? So unleavened bread is just as important as the Passover. If you didn't know before, you know now. You still have time to adjust it with your slavery. We'll talk to that slave master, that taskmaster you have. Make sure you book for that Sunday off as well. Tell him he ain't gonna see you until Tuesday. But tell her they ain't gonna see you until Tuesday. All right. That's Saturday and Sunday, April 1st, April 2nd, Passover, unleavened bread. All right. Now give me Wisdom of Solomon real quick. Then we're done. 18 and I'll tell you where to start. Damn. Let's start at 1. We're gonna run through real quick.
Oh God. Wisdom of Solomon, verse 1.
18 and 1.
Say it again, sir.
The Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 18 and verse 1.
Come on, sir. Nevertheless, thy saints had a very great light, whose voice they hearing, and not seeing their shape, because they also had not suffered the same things. They counted them happy. But for that they did not hurt them now, of whom they had been wrong before. They thanked them and besought them pardon, for that they had been enemies.
Right, what's this talking about? Go ahead.
It's talking about Is this talking about us coming out of Egypt?
It's us coming out of Egypt. That great light was that pillar of fire by night. And of course, we had the cloud during the day. And it didn't harm us, right? That's what it's saying in the first verse, right? We have not suffered the same things. They counted them happy, right? Because why? We coming out of Egypt. Egypt suffered big time. And because we didn't suffer it, we counted, we was like, we happy. Israel is. We happy as shit, right? Go ahead.
Oh, God. Instead, whereof thou gavest them a burning pillar of fire.
Give me what verse 2 said.
Oh, God.
Verse 2?
But for that, they did not hurt them. Now, of whom they had been wrong before, they thanked them and besought them pardon, for that they had been enemies.
Right? We didn't turn around and hurt them.
Right.
They turned around and, begged us pardon. Who before they treated us like enemies. Remember, they said they gave us gold and all the riches and pushed us out the land because they realized, no, they done mess with the wrong person. Right? Go ahead.
Oh, God. Instead, whereof thou gavest them a burning pillar of fire, both to be a guide of the unknown journey, and harmless sun to entertain them honorably.
Right? That's what the Lord gave to us as we came out today. Right? A pillar of fire to guide us by the nighttime, and the sun during the day. Remember, he had the cloud that would we followed, which was the chariot of the Lord. You get your chariot precepts. All right, go ahead.
Come. For they were worthy to be deprived of light and imprisoned in darkness, who had kept thy sons shut up, by whom the uncorrupt light of the law was to be given unto the world.
That's them. Egypt, they were deprived of light. They were put into darkness. In the Josephus, it gives you a historical account what Josephus wrote down. Josephus, of course, is not a priest and prophet of the Lord. He's a historian. I believe he was a brother who was a historian. And in the Josephus, it tells you there was like a thick darkness going through Egypt that night. It's like a darkness. I don't know if you ever been in a power outage when the moon is not out. You go outside now. If the moon is out, you could be in a place where there's no light. You could still see. When there's no moon out, you can't see like this in front of your face. They said it was so thick you couldn't see nothing. That was the angel of death. That was that. Go ahead.
Oh, God. And when they had determined to slay the babes of the saints, one child being cast forth and saved to reprove them, thou tookest away the multitude of their children and destroyedst them altogether in a mighty water.
Right. Remember, they plotted to destroy our family. They plotted to destroy our people destroy all our sons, right? That's how Moses was saved. Remember, Moses' mother done put him in the basket and sent him down, and Pharaoh's daughter found him on the other side. You get the point? That's the only way he got into Egypt's into Pharaoh's house. Go ahead, Yatazar.
Well, Major, the latter part of verse 4, what it means by that?
Read it when you're talking about.
By whom the uncorrupt light of the law was to be given unto the world. Is it saying that, if I measure, is it saying the law that the children of Israel had was that light and that we were supposed to give that to the world, or is it talking about I'm not sure.
Okay, it's talking about the world of Israel. Remember, it said they kept whose sons that kept shut up.
Right.
We was in slave there. We was in captivity. Who uncorruptible light of the law was supposed to be given unto the world. Meaning we were supposed to receive that. It's like saying, remember, these special children you all had here, you all had them shut up. And they were supposed to be in charge and receive the light of the world and the laws. That's incorruptible. Like this ain't got no kind of corruption in it at all. This is hardcore solid. You put them in chains, in bondage. I'm coming for you. You get the point? All right. When they determined to slay all the babes, Moses was saved, and he was saved now to punish them after. Right? Go ahead.
Of that night where our fathers,
and it says they were destroyed with a mighty water, which is talking about, of course, the Red Sea, the parting of the Red Sea. People like to, say the Bible is a fairy tale. There's chariots in the bottom of the Red Sea with coral on them. Go Google how long coral takes to grow. I mean, full out coral reef on a chariot wheel with gold plates, a full chariot underneath there, armor underneath there. Just go see how long it takes for that to grow, right? That's parting of the Red Sea was an absolute historical event that did happen, right? Whether you want to believe in it or not. All right, go ahead.
Of that night where our fathers certified afore, that assuredly, knowing unto what oaths they had given credence, they might afterwards be of good cheer.
Right, on that same night, our forefathers, they were assured, they were certified, meaning imagine you in Egypt in captivity, Moses coming and talking this thing. Remember, Moses first went to Pharaoh. Pharaoh denied him. Then Pharaoh said, yo, they too idle. Go make bricks without straw. Israel turned on Moses. Right. Israel said, Moses, you making matters worse, man. You know, that's Israel. Right. Get the point? That night, everybody was like, shit, thank the Lord for Moses. I'm glad I'm an Israelite. You hear how them oppressors bawling. That's just always remember, Israel is carnal. If you remember Israel is carnal, you could fish more. You'll fish a whole lot. Israel is not spiritual. Israel is carnal. They respect might and power and nothing else. Go ahead.
If I may, sir, I remember when I was in the world, one thing that really brought me into this truth, sir, is them camp speaking you did, and you had them devils.
Oh, most are incredible.
When I'm looking at that, it was just, the carnal side of me is like, man, this is.
Listen, I prayed for that day because, brother, all I want to do is the same thing Commander Johnny Yahanna do. I seen him say, brother, okay, I'm going to get back to this real quick because I want to go two at a time. You remember that camp the general did when he's battling the Muslims? When he stopped them and he say, there's some other parts of that tape, I don't know who's seen it, and he asked them to bring their proof. Because they was out there threatening to blow us away, had the gun in the bag. And the general said, before you pull the 9, bring your knowledge. Bring your knowledge. That was the first cut. Talk to any brother who was there that day. We was already preparing to that was it. Brothers done take the damn war belt off, men getting limber, if you watch the picture, it was like that. And brother, the general that day when he said, I'm not letting nobody sell you drugs. And he ran on the whole speech out. And when he says it's worth something, the camera don't give any justice. Brother, the block got quiet. On the tape, there's an old sister on the corner. She starts immediately clapping. That's the only thing you could hear. Right. Brother, I remember doing this shit here. And then turn around and the people started to clap, and the whole thing got cut. You could feel that he done disarmed them with his shit.
Right.
I was like, boy, I had to have that.
Yeah.
I ain't leaving the truth out. That day I was like reborn into camp, brother. I was in that corner. I remember when he said it, and you're a black man like me. And it's what? Something. And then they just get quiet for about 3 seconds out. And then the sister she just start doing this. I remember being on post and I'm like, because I ain't expecting him to say that. I'm expecting him to say Pagaibo and that's it. Brother, listen, might and power. And the Lord gives might and power to men.
Like something you said, you said it's so heavy. I remember watching that tape and me being carnal. I'm like, I'll kill all of them. I'm getting mad at them. I'm like, man, I'll kill all them niggas. And you said that and it cut me. I was
brother.
Like, damn.
Listen,
I'm in the wrong spirit.
I'm trying to tell you. When he said, that's why I look at him. I was like, you ain't getting order?
Yeah.
But then you cut everybody. I was like, oh, I need to get on that level right there, brother. Like, listen now. That was mercy to be in camps with the generals, brother. I ain't gonna lie. Let me finish up this, all right?
Verse 6, sir.
Read 6 again.
Of that night where our fathers certified afore, that assuredly knowing unto what oaths they had given credence, they might afterwards be of good cheer.
Right? They were certified afore, knowing what oaths they gave good credence, that they may be of good cheer. Right? They became happy after. And they knew that coming together in Israel, that worked. That night, they knew it. Before, it was like, what is nigga doing? Yeah. That night, when that shit came through, they understood that. Go ahead.
So if thy people was accepted, both the salvation of the righteous and destruction of the enemy.
Read that again.
So if thy people was accepted, both the salvation of the righteous and destruction of the enemy.
Right. Of our people, this is what we have to accept. That our salvation, that our life changing, that being no more under oppression, you want justice and no peace, it comes hand in hand with the destruction of your enemies. The problem is you want to love everybody and everybody don't love you. You have enemies because your father has enemies, right? You blood into this thing here. For you to get out of oppression, your oppressor has to be unalive. He has to go into captivity. He has to be destroyed. One doesn't happen without the other, and that's what the Passover is about. Now, last thing, and then we done. There's some more here. Y'all could read it in your all time. Everybody talking about this Passover demon. This Passover demon. And boy, the Passover demon strong this year. Let me explain to you something. You ain't got no Passover demon. You just more in the world than in the truth. Because they didn't have a weed man demon. Ain't no demon stop you when you're going to buy weed, right? Right? Everybody, the Passover demon be messing with your Passover, right? Messing up your Passover plan. Where was the Passover demon that's going to buy weed? Where's the Passover demon that's going to the strip club? When it's the Passover demon that's going to do that threesome? Where's the Passover demon when you're going to your slavery? You wreck your car, you bust a tire, you just count it as part of going to slavery. You don't go make a post, oh, this demon don't want me to go to slave, right? You don't do no shit like that. So how come this Passover demon winning? How come he just winning? The problem is you just more in the world than in the truth. You get to Passover by any means necessary. And if you don't get there, you're weak and a punk and you're a Christian. There's no excuse to miss it. You have brothers, you have sisters, pick up the phone and call. If you don't get to Passover, don't blame the demon, blame yourself. This time it's not the demon. It's not the demon. I know, you have to blame the demon for that's a demon. That's a demon. This time, that ain't that demon. It's you. Because you get to other things with no problem. You do other things where you let the bill go, unpaid 2-3 months, the bill go unpaid. But for this, and the money and the slavery and this Passover demon is. I need some precepts. See, this demon is stopping me. Don't come. That's it. It's a Kamala Harris. Don't come. Don't come. I'm being facetious, of course. Right. Your own Passover demon. Right. It's you. The reason this thing is plaguing you so much is the same reason that Christians fight in the world every Christmas and Thanksgiving. Right. You ever notice Christmas, Thanksgiving, their worldly holidays turn into a fight and a whole plague That's the spirit of the holiday time, the chaos, the spirit of the holiday time that happens to people in the world. That doesn't happen in here. We don't have that type of chaos up in here. The same thing you going through, everybody going through. Just not everybody on there flagging and posting about it. Shut your goddamn mouth, man, to hell up and get to North Carolina. That's it. With that, pass the class over to Priest and Officer Kazaka.
Security announcements. We are the I.S.U.P.K out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yahanna. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6-month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, 8 to 10. Means 10th in Hebrew is pronounced ma'ishra. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives, you give to the Treasury Department or teacher. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. The upcoming Holy Convocation is the Lord's 54th annual Passover in Raleigh, North Carolina, April 1st, the 14th day of the first month. Get your Passover arrangements in order. Anything you would like to add, sir?
Get there, man. I'm tired of seeing anybody complain about some goddamn Passover demon, man. Goddamn, you the demon. You the problem.
Right.
Hell, Salam.
Okay, sir. Remind Akim and Akwakian to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, he's to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, black shirts, black pants, black headband or scarf. And with that, I say I imaju, which means to stand. Wapanya Hakuna, which means turn to face to east. You can do the Lord's Prayer. In Hebrew first, repeat after me. Abanaw. Shabbat Shemayim. Kodash. Hayah. Shemka. Yahweh. Malakut Khan. Kama'ah. Ratizayka. Hayah. Aisha. Ratizna. Kawak. Hayah. Shemayim. Come. Yawam. Wasalakna now. Kawak now. Kasalak now. Kawak now. Wala cover your eye now. Wanna side one. A ball. Outside now. Mayan. Right. Kaya. Lakab. Hamalakwa. Waha'ala. Waha'tapara. La'ai Aman.
Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come. Thy will be done. In earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day. Our daily bread. And forgive us our debts. As we forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation. But deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom. And the power. And the glory. Forever. So be it. That I say sorry, which means turn, so that you can have a seat. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher. Men of Israel, I Madhu Shabbat, I Madhu, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Brakatham. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai Brakatham.
Yazamata, sorry, which means turn. Sisters, you go ahead and stand. Men of Israel, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I Madhu Shabbat, I Madhu, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Yahweh Shai. Y'all on the top, class dismissed.
Shalom, Israel. And when I mean Israel, I'm talking about the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians. The Lord's 54th annual Passover is going down again this year, sundown, April 1st at 500 South Salisbury Street in Raleigh, North Carolina at the Downtown Conventional Center. It's got enough room for all of us. The Lord's 54th annual Passover. Last year, brothers and sisters showed up from all over the world, rocking ancient garments and glorious apparel in order to serve the Most High in Christ. Now, it's that time again. Commander General Yahanna is putting out the decree for all brothers and sisters to show up sundown, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us at the Sheridan in Raleigh, the hotel right downtown. It's at 421 South Salisbury. The Passover is right up the block at the convention center, literally within walking distance. Make sure you pull up. Make sure that you do your due diligence because rooms are going fast and they are limited this weekend. You understand? We have months in advance of preparation. Do not wait till the last minute to get your room. The Lord's 54th annual Passover, Saturday, April 1st in Raleigh, North Carolina. Join us there.
It's about time, sending curses to them enemies.